Sunny guys, how is it going? Super pumped for today.
We're going to be covering the front-end developer guide of 2020 to 2021. Sunny, are you excited about this or what?
I'm super excited. We have so much jam-packed knowledge for you guys. We're excited for this one. And guys, if you're excited, let us know in the comments. Drop a thumbs up, and yeah, get ready for this.
Man, we are pumped about this one, guys. This one just doesn't stop in terms of the value, so buckle up, Buttercup, because this is about to be one bumpy ride.
Exactly.
So this is gonna be essentially your roadmap to becoming a front end developer, in this year and hopefully the next year, even with all the crazy stuff going on. So first off, Sunny, what should they do with their phones?
Guys, grab your phones right now and hit that do not disturb button because you're going to need all of your attention right now because we're going to be going at a very, very intense rate and we're going to be dropping a bunch of value bombs on you guys. So get ready to focus, hit that do not disturb button and put your phone way across to the other side of the room.
Yep. Get into that focus mode. If you have extra Chrome tabs open, quit out of them because today we're just bringing the value bombs. This is going to be one of the most value packed. This is the best video on this topic for a fact, and we're just going to make it even better. So we're going to give you our attention, give us yours. And with that said, let's just keep it rocking and rolling. So let's move forward. Now here's where the
first donation. Nice.
Oh, nice. Sushant, thank you so much. Our second donation, Vishal.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Really appreciate you guys. So I'm going to show here, Sushant, thank you so much. So here's where the fun begins. And if you're thinking, where do I begin, right? It doesn't matter. Just start. I think that's the really important thing. Now, let's just get straight into it. So what's happening here, Sunny?
Right. So guys, we always get this question of are we talking about front end? Are we talking about back end? Today, everything we cover, guys, is going to be front end. And what do we mean by front end, right? We mean what you're going to see on the websites. All of the builds that we're doing are front end builds at the moment. And then if we click on the next, I think the JavaScript should pop up right now.
Yeah.
And basically, guys, whenever we talk about JavaScript, we're talking about the front end. Whenever you hear about Node.js, we're talking about back end, right? So back end is some server somewhere else, but it's not the website that you're seeing when you're interacting with Amazon, when you're interacting with Twitter and those sort of things. The back end is separate. We're going to be talking about that in a different video. Today, everything we talk about is front end, right? So just know that before we jump into this video.
Love it. Karthik says your content is more worth than any other paid courses out there. Really appreciate that. Okay.
Thank you.
So here's what's going on. So we got HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And what are we looking at? Why is this important?
Right. So these are the fundamentals, guys, that we're going to be covering. So the three main things that you need to know about when it comes to front-end web development are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. They are the three PowerPoints in this presentation. They are literally everything that you need to be concentrated on getting better at when it comes to front end development.
100%. And now let's talk about job opportunities and salary for front end developers, guys. So here are the salaries for JavaScript developers by experience. And take a look at this, right? Less than 1 year of experience, it's possible for people to make $62,000 a year, and in 2020, $75,000 a year. And then going down, 1 to 4 years, you can see the salaries keep increasing. But I know most of the people that are watching this channel have less than 1 year of experience. So if you just put your head down, not complain, don't look up, don't change your focus every 2 minutes, and just put in the work. I'm talking 8 to 10 hours or more per day. If you can do that, it's very possible for you to be hitting these numbers actually even way before the 1 year mark.
Definitely. And guys, some of you might be wondering, it's in dollars and I'm not in America. It does not matter, guys. With the internet, you can pretty much work for anyone. Your client could be in America and you could get paid in dollars. So this applies to everyone.
Yep. It applies to everyone. So the job opportunity is really crazy. There are 45,000 jobs available as of right this second on just Indeed.com for JavaScript. On Upwork, if you look, there are 8,000 jobs available, and you guys can go there right now, and there are probably even more because of COVID. So guys, job opportunity is only going up. While a lot of people are losing their jobs that are doing a lot of physical stuff, programmers are not.
Exactly.
Here you have what's going on here. And we just got a 400 rupee donation from Simba. So thank you so much for that. He says, learn a lot today. Finish your Instagram clone today. quality content for free, and I think this is about $5 or $6 USD. So thank you so much.
Nice,
Now,
nice.
what are we looking at here, Sonny?
So we're looking at sort of the different programming languages in terms of popularity, guys. So in terms of professional developers, you can see at the top two right now, JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. Those were those three that we just mentioned before in regards to front-end development. And you can see they've overtaken Java, they've overtaken Python, they've overtaken SQL. So if you're ever in that question of wondering, what should I learn? Should I learn Java? Should I learn this and that? Guys, put your energy towards JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and like we said, there's plenty of money. That's all you need to know moving
Can't go
forward.
wrong with that. Now,
Yeah.
when we were talking earlier about different countries, right? It doesn't matter if you're in India, you're in Turkey, you're in, I don't know, God knows where. You're sitting in Dubai and you're like, what's happening? You guys can always tap into these markets remotely, whether you tap into the US market or the Canada market, United Kingdom or Germany. You guys can tap into this. In US, you can see average developers making $5,700 a month, which comes out to about $60,000 a year. Canada, they're making about 4,000. United Kingdom, 3,100. Germany, 39. So really, these countries are so massive that it doesn't matter where you are. You can always get jobs in these types of countries. Now, top tech companies that are using JavaScript, Sonny, talk to us about this.
We have loads, guys. We have Tinder, Uber, PayPal, Tesla, Netflix, Google, eBay, Facebook. The list just goes on, guys. And you notice a lot of these, we actually went ahead and built some clones for. So if you haven't checked those out, make sure you go and check them out, and you can practice your web development front end skills doing those clones. But
Do
like
that.
you guys can see here, there's huge money. The industry is packed with
Yeah.
JavaScript right now. There's so much demand here, guys. So really, really is something worth investing your time in.
The Tinder clone we recently built, you guys, is huge. So go check that out. We're thinking about making an Airbnb one. We made Netflix, so check that out. We make Facebook Messenger clone. Look at that. And we want to say we just broke over 500 concurrent viewers at once. So thank you guys so
Nice.
much for that. I see it's only going up. I see the chat is going crazy. I'm looking at a lot of your guys' messages. So Benny, Mr. Varun, Sanskari, Raji Babura, George Fidelia, like we're looking at all of this. Thank you guys. And if you guys are watching this, whether as a replay or watching this live right now with us, please guys, one thing you can do, we spend hours and hours preparing all this material for you guys. Sunny put together over 100 slides for you guys for this presentation. So it's just value packed. All we ask for is that if you want to appreciate Sunny's work or you want to appreciate just our work and team's effort and energy that put into this, it doesn't cost you anything. Just hit that like button, please, and it sends the video out to every single person, so many more people that could get value out of this. So if you just do that and you do nothing else, that makes the world of a difference for us.
Yeah, guys, just hit that thumbs up, get this video out to as many people, tell your friends, tell everyone watching. Let's get this video to as many people as we possibly can.
Yep. With that said, let's just go right back. So now this is the overall lay of the land, so to speak, when you think about a front-end developer. There's a lot going on. And now as we get more advanced, back in the day, maybe it was just you needed to know HTML, CSS, and maybe JavaScript in your front-end developer. Now, guys, it's definitely a lot more involved because a lot of jobs expect you to know a lot of things. So you got to learn the tools like NPM, Webpack, Chrome Dev Tools. This is some of the stuff that we're going to be covering in this presentation today. You got to know HTML. You got to know CSS and processors like PostCSS, Less, and Sass or SCSS. You guys will need to know frameworks like Angular or Vue or React. Which one kind of do you want to pick? All right, you will need to know things like JavaScript or TypeScript. And you will need to know about component libraries. What's your flavor of choice? Is it Bootstrap? We talked about Bootstrap 5 actually yesterday. Is it semantic UI or material UI? Where are you at?
Exactly. And I see a lot of questions about TypeScript, guys. We will be covering all of the things that you guys see here in this video. So stay tuned and be sure that we are going to cover those.
Yep. Prince says, in this lockdown, I've learned a lot of things from you guys. Thanks to both of you for all of this free, valuable content. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate that.
Now, what can you do with JavaScript, Sunny?
Oh, nice. We just got a £3 donation by Usman Baloch.
Nice.
Sunny, so much love for you and for Kazi. Thank you, dude. Appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Usman. Seriously appreciate that, guys. That's huge.
Massive. Right, so guys, what can we do with JavaScript, right? We can do a bunch of things. We can build web apps, which you guys have seen in our amazing live builds. Hope you guys are enjoying those, by the way. You can build some native apps. So not, by learning something like React, you can actually go ahead and build iOS, Android apps, which is amazingly powerful. And you can actually go ahead and then take it further and have server apps using Node.js. So that is a backend technology that we're talking about. But yeah, pretty much with one language, JavaScript, you can go ahead and do all of this stuff. So
All of
amazing power
those.
behind it.
Now let's get into the
Technical nitty gritty, guys.
nice. We just threw that in there because we love Sonny's British accent. So when he says nitty
British.
gritty, we love that. We all love that. Drop a like for that accent. Now, what's going on? So here, guys, when it comes to this, you got to learn the basics, okay, with HTML. Make a page, make it work. Don't overcomplicate it. So that's
Keep it
just the
simple,
basic
guys.
foundation, right?
Yeah, keep it simple. Just get HTML up and running on your page, and literally that just means like get some stuff on a page, and that's it. Move and then start moving forward. Like don't overcomplicate it. Don't start thinking all these other things. Just get moving with it, and then move over to CSS. So CSS is cascading style sheet, and that's on the next slide. And here, guys, you want to learn how to use different layouts. So how do you position things on the page in different ways? And for that, you can learn Flexbox. And Flexbox is going to help you achieve a really nice responsive design. And then you compare that with media queries to get things working just as you want it on like mobile, tablet, and everything like that. So something to look into. It's definitely a massive fundamental here, CSS.
Yep, 100%. Learn that. Now with JavaScript, you guys got to make sure you master the fundamentals. Learn the basics, learn them inside out, learn problem solving, learn things like data types, learn things like functions and ES6 versus ES7. So for example, what is that arrow looking thing, right? That's more ES6, ES7, as in before there would just be regular functions. So learn those things because those are very common at every job. You'll need to know them. Learn about DOM manipulation. Learn about scopes and fetch API, and learn a lot about asynchronous programming. Lolo, thank you so much for another donation. And he says, what's the statistics on degree and no degree jobs? I think at this point, guys, if you have the skills down, it doesn't matter whether you have the degree or no degree. There are tons of developers working at Facebook, at Microsoft, at Google, at Netflix who don't have degrees and are making upwards of $200,000 or even $300,000 a year.
Yeah, even Elon Musk just said that he pretty much ruled out the need for a degree now. So
Yeah,
guys, top tier
officially.
companies are ruling it out. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's huge. So now what about the visual design stuff, guys? That's so important. So let's jump straight into that actually. So let's talk about some of the visual design stuff that we think is actually super important. We'll start from the start.
Yeah.
So there are 5 key principles of good design. And Sunny, you want to talk about some of them?
Yeah, so guys, the first one is visual hierarchy. So this is all about
Oh,
like
and one thing actually, just before we go into it, guys, these slides were made by somebody on the team, Alex, who's actually the newest addition to our team at Clever Programmer, and he is phenomenal, extremely talented kid. He's only 19 years old, and he had amazing resources on the front end side. And so we're like, hey, why don't you put together some slides so we can share it? So is that okay if we share these with you guys? I think he would be really pumped, and I think hopefully you guys will get a lot of value out of this too.
Yeah, and also guys, let's drop Alex a massive welcome in the comment section and let him know that he's welcome to the team.
Nice. That's actually brilliant. And drop a like for Alex.
Yeah, drop a like. Nice.
Awesome.
So the first point, guys, first key principle of design, visual hierarchy. So this is all about how do you rank elements on your page. So here we have like a banner, we have a header at the top, and the sort of size and scale of these components, they all play a different purpose. Like, so for example, we're always drawn to banners when we see like a website.
Yes.
So they play a really important part.
Very
It's really an important part of being a front-end developer.
Yep. And just want to say, guys, we broke 700 live concurrent viewers. So thank you guys so much. That is insane. Appreciate you. Now, visual hierarchy is very important. And what's another thing that's super important right after visual hierarchy is actually the typography, how things are written. So if you take a look at how it Slack replaces email inside your company, that text matters. It's bold, like it's kind of powerful. You see it. The size of it matters. The styling of it matters. And so typography is something you kind of have to know. And if you look on the left-hand side, it says The style of fonts you use in your design can really impact your visual composition. You can either help a message stand out with heavier weighted fonts or bring characters closer together to help the message feel more pronounced. And I think when we see how it says try Slack, see the demo, when we see where it says keep conversations organized in Slack, when we see Slack replaces email, how all of those are together and how typography is used, it's very powerful.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So typography is super important, guys. And the next one is color. So as you can see from this webpage, immediately that thing just looks gorgeous. Like as soon as you see it, it just grabs your eyes, it grabs your full focus. That's going to make all the difference, guys. Now, color is not just as simple as picking a color, right? You need to have, like, how do you figure out which colors to use? How do you figure out which color palettes? So on the next slide, we have a really handy tool that we actually use internally, and it's called, I don't know how you pronounce it. I think it's coolers.co, right?
Coolers.co, yeah.
Yeah. And Kazi, you've used this, right?
This is awesome, you guys. This is one tool that I think all designers should use. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to open and go ahead and show it on the computer and how you use it. But this thing is super powerful. Logan is here. He goes, my boy's dropping the value bomb. Let's go. I mean, you already know, bro. It's every day, bro. Like the Jake Paul song. He's actually, their FBI just raided his house yesterday. So let's go start the generator over here. And this thing is awesome for colors. I am not a front-end developer, but even I was using this, and this is awesome. So check it out, right? If you want to pick a color that's good, you can just click. And how does it do that random generation again? Don't I click?
I think it's spacebar.
Oh, spacebar.
Yeah.
So look, I'm just pressing spacebar, and it's giving me these different colors and color palettes. And so I'll keep going till I actually find something that kind of speaks out to me, and I want to use. So let's go.
Even if you find the color, you can lock that color, and then you can keep shuffling. Yeah.
So I like this orange because that's kind of like the clever programmer orange. So now I can actually just I can click it, and it just locked it. Okay. I could have also done Command 3. Command 2 will lock this one, the second one. So I'll just do Command 3 and lock it. Now I just hit spacebar, and that orange will stay locked in, but I've picked it. Now maybe I want something really sharp and crazy. I like purples a lot, so I'll lock this one too. So now I have 2 of my colors and color palette picked. And if I keep going, you know, this is, you guys can see how this can be super useful for your website design, logo design, brand that you're trying to create, whatever it may be.
Yeah, really, really handy tool, guys. And it's really handy when you're just starting out in your sort of front end journey, because it's hard to figure out these things like the colors that you should use and stuff. So definitely go ahead and check that out.
Yep. So coolers.co is a great resource. Now, what do we have here on this one, Sunny?
Right. So here we have contrast, guys. So you can see, like, so we talked about colors, but look how they use the colors, right? Look how they're contrasting different colors together and how it draws your attention to each of those 3 different items on the screen. So contrast is something which is really, really important, and how to know which colors that complement one another. So in that case, I think Coolers does that by default. So you notice whenever we're going through our palette, it kind of were colors that was just seem naturally to fit together. So use tools like that to sort of get a grasp of contrast. But
super important.
Yeah. Really
and
important.
Hari Krishan just donated $4. So thank you so much for that. Really, really appreciate you. That is freaking awesome.
You, dude.
Thank you.
Nice.
And there's a good comment that came in from David Breck. And he actually says, Coolers is the best. I used it for my final project last semester, and it was looking really nice. Awesome.
Awesome. Nice.
Okay, so let's move forward with this. So number 5, grid systems. These are really important. Now, you guys hear us talking about grid systems in Material UI, or not just Material UI, but regular CSS. We talked about grid. And then even with Bootstrap, we talked about grid a lot. And it's an important thing when you're designing. You know, even when you think about photo composition, right? You're thinking about rules of third. Rules of third is a grid system, essentially. So here, for your own website design, I think a grid system is important. You want to add something on the grid system, Sunny?
Yeah, so massive power here, guys. Even for achieving responsive designs, using a grid system allows you to actually really easily achieve that sort of design that you're looking for. So I know we talk a lot about Flexbox, but if you go ahead and master something like CSS Grid, achieving a responsive design is actually super, it's very easy to do that with CSS Grid. So definitely something worth investing your time in and learning.
Leroy Fernandez says, Sunny plus Kazi, the ultimate duo. Thank you. And Rizvan says, love your guys' content. Appreciate it, brother. So next up now, with I think grid systems is all important, But like, what kind of tools can you guys use to actually prototype grid systems and prototype and come up with design ideas for your website before you start coding it up? So this is why
Yep.
we put this slide together for you guys. Tools for
Exactly.
prototyping. And
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah, just gonna say, just how we say, guys, before you even write a line of code, you should kind of like get an idea, write it down on a piece of paper what you're trying to do, right? And we do the same thing with design, like with Sketch, with InVision, with Adobe XD and Figma. Pretty much, you that's what you go ahead and do. You draw it out as you want to achieve your website. They provide tools which allow you to go ahead and easily sort the layout without any code or anything, and
Yep.
then you have something to work towards. So
So this
massive use.
is this is Adobe XD. This is InDesign.
This is InVision.
InVision. Got it. This is
Yeah.
Figma over here, and then this one is Sketch. Yep.
Yeah.
So design it first, you guys, before sometimes you just start creating. Though, like, oftentimes I personally kind of just jump into it, but also I'm not a professional front end designer, or front end developer. So I think if you use these tools, you make your development a lot better.
Definitely. Definitely.
Now, here are some Adobe XD resources. So there's some.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You want to talk about it?
Yeah. So we have app integration, guys, Slack, Jira. I can't remember what the last one was there,
Oh,
but
that's
basically,
nice. So when you're designing, you can actually just shoot it to your team in Slack.
yeah. And I actually worked in a company where they did this. Every time a design was updated, it would ping in Slack, and I'd
Oh,
get the
smart.
latest design. Really, really handy stuff. Even UI kits, guys. So like all the Apple designs, all the Microsoft designs, all those things are built into these platforms. So you can go ahead and get the Apple layout as you just expect it.
Yep.
Plugins. So Alex actually went ahead and told me about one of the plugins. For example, if you want to have confetti on the screen or confetti on your design, sometimes that can be quite hard to actually go ahead and add to your designs. So there's little handy plugins that you can go ahead and install. So just a quick showcase of the things that you can add in.
Nice. Yep. And then apparently it has a plugin of Airtable and plugin of React. So that's also
Yeah.
sounds pretty handy. And then it got UI kits for Apple if you're developing for them, or
Yeah.
Microsoft. So this is awesome. Now, also, I think what's important that Alex was telling me too, he goes, you got to have inspiration resources. So where can you go and get inspiration from? Because one thing I see with front end developers and why sometimes they have good intentions, but it ends up being bad because they're coming up with everything uniquely on their own. And sometimes that's why your design will be bad. So have inspirations to derive from, so then you can actually create something really powerful and good.
Yeah. Steve
So
McCarty says my front ends look like 1990s web pages. I think every developer can relate to you on that, and that's why we use the sort of things that we're about to speak about. Yeah.
nice. Got it. That's actually really smart. That's funny because my stuff looks like that too. And
Yeah.
here is Muesli Search, which is Pinterest for designers. Have you ever used this, Sunny?
So I've not used Muesli. I've used the one that we're going to speak about next, but I definitely, when Alex mentioned this, I'm going to check this one out for sure. Yeah.
Yep. So this is like Pinterest for designers, and you guys can actually type in whatever keywords that you're looking for, right? And then inspirations will pop up. And I think they have like landing pages and all that type of stuff for you to get inspiration from. So I would definitely make Muesli Search one of your guys' resources for front end design. And even Sunny and I will personally add it to our toolbox.
Yeah. Like
So
guys, they have like 3,500 dashboards, 10,000 landing pages, mobile app
yes.
designs. Even if you have a rough idea of what your app should look like, there's no harm in going and checking out a bunch of designs to see what could be improved, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. And guys, I think we just broke 900 concurrent viewers. So thank you
Amazing.
guys so much. That is massive.
Thank you.
Appreciate the love. Guys, let's keep that energy up and let's keep getting this video out to even more people. And you can just do that if you're here and you haven't liked the video already. Go ahead and just like the video, and then it sends it out to more developers and more people who want to become developers.
Thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you. So here we have, so the Chrome extension for Muesli is available too. So you guys can just download it, I believe, for free and install it on Chrome. So you can do
Yeah.
that. It's called Muesli to Stay Inspired, and it has over 300,000 plus active users.
Yeah, really handy.
Now let's jump into some design resources. So Sunny, take it away.
The first one that we have here, guys, is a design blog by Adobe. So it's completely free to go ahead and read this, subscribe to it. And what we always do is we actually recommend this with JavaScript. So there's a few JavaScript newsletters, and that's what I personally use to stay at the front of the JavaScript and what's latest and what's going on. So this is the exact same thing, but for design. And as a front-end developer, it's super important, guys. It's going to teach you the latest processes, the latest principles, and also what the latest companies are doing in regards to design, right? So really, really important to stay up to like in front of the crowd when it comes to this stuff.
Like the type of stuff that I'm looking at right now that seems actually pretty powerful to me. I mean, the stuff that's catching my eye is unique insights. So for example, I want to know about interviews and how did they interview people based on design? How did somebody pass the interview based on that? I think that seems pretty amazing for somebody who's looking for a job.
Yeah, definitely.
Here are some great free design resources, you guys. And so if you have any, you want to add anything, Sunny, feel free to jump in at any time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so we have Behance and Dribble for those two apps.
I was just going to say Behance is one I got to put in my repertoire as well. But Behance is absolutely amazing, you guys. So make sure you guys add that as one of your resources. And then the next one is actually Dribble. Dribble is amazing. Let me actually just open up because I have some experience with Dribble. And these guys are, is Dribble with 3 B's?
It's 3 B's. Yeah, 3 B's.
Yep, there we go. So it's Dribble with 3 B's. And you guys can go here and get inspirations for what you're trying to build. So maybe let's say you're trying to build like that bottom nav bar or whatever on your mobile device. And you can actually take a look at this inspiration right here. Or if you're trying to build a landing page, you can take a look at this design that somebody built. And you go, oh, that actually looks really great. Let me actually model this. So if you look at the top, and what I would honestly do is I would go to this platform and let's see if I can go in filters. Cool, popular. Maybe you can go click web design, right? And go to the most popular web designs that you can see. So say this one. Then just try to design this exact thing that looks exactly like that and put it in your portfolio. That
100%.
See what I'm saying? That will guaranteed work because it's already popping on the design website.
Yeah.
One of the most popular ones.
The best thing is that these are going to be less popular than the sort of typical sort of projects that you're going to see in everyone's portfolio. So if you go here, you're going to be sure that you have some pieces which stand out inside your portfolio. And they're like really attractive, really look beautiful. And it's also going to make you a better front-end developer. So no harm in doing it.
Yeah, no harm in doing this. Like this is another one. And I think that's a really good point that Sunny made because sometimes if everybody is making clones of things, sometimes those people will be like, well, you probably just follow the tutorial, to do this, or you've just followed a to-do list tutorial. But here, it's not everybody's doing it. So this will also make you stand out if you try to exactly model these pages.
Yeah, definitely.
That will be a really good test for you guys. So let's go back to the keynote that we had for you guys. And I mean, damn, we're almost at 1,000 total viewers on all platforms. So that is
amazing.
Unbelievable. Thank
you, guys.
So these are free resources. And then you might be wondering, like, how can I improve my visual design skills? And this is something we just touched on a little bit already.
Yep.
So make sure you discover creative work on these platforms. I think inspiration is probably going to be one of the most important things. And then you know what the next most important thing is, even within inspiration, right? You want to find few people and then model them. So tell me your thoughts on this one, Sunny.
I think this is a really important point. I never thought of this until Alex explained it to me. So like, go ahead and find some designers and follow them because like he mentioned to me, it's all about pattern recognition. If you start to see and you follow their designs, you're going to see where they go from like a rounded design to a flat design. And then if you're following 3 people and all of them are moving in that direction, you can be sure that the industry might be switching to that direction. And it's like a cue to then learn that stuff and go a bit more deeper into it. Just like how you follow me, you follow Kazi, Naz in the JavaScript domain, it's just as important in like visual design domain that you go ahead and follow someone. So these are people on Dribble, and Alex recommended that you guys go and follow these. So definitely go and check him out. And he's an amazing designer, and he actually goes and follows these people as well. So be sure to go and check.
It's super killer because even one of the things that I learned when I'm looking for homes is we couldn't find a lot of good listings. So what we did is we found the owner of a home that was like nice, and we hit up the owner, and the owner just showed us all other homes that were similarly amazingly designed.
Oh, nice.
You know what I'm saying? So I think when you're looking for website designs, just follow a few people, and then you can actually start to develop that same eye as them. And you will guaranteed almost always find good principled designs because you're following the right people.
Definitely.
And the next one is Sunny. What is this?
Go ahead and build some app clones, guys. So if you haven't already, we have actually gone ahead and built all of the clones on the screen right now. So, which is amazing to say that. Really nice to say that. You guys
so nice to look at it.
Yeah, really nice. You guys can go ahead and build those and go and check them out, and that's going to help you become a better front-end developer, and it's going to help you improve your skill set. So,
seriously.
And it's going to be something you add to your portfolio. So definitely go ahead and check those.
Because we built Netflix, we built Tinder clone just a few days ago, we built Spotify clone, we built TikTok clone, and Instagram clone. So these are all websites that we built and the front end for them. So what better than to have these on your portfolio?
Exactly.
Awesome. So with that said, we're going to jump back into this pretty much right away. Thank you for the donation,
Jumping
Basil.
Straight back into, oh, thank you, Basil Aslam. Nice.
And awesome. You guys, we're about to hit 1,000 concurrent viewers on YouTube very soon. We're at 971. You guys are absolutely freaking beautiful. Daniel Soliata says, awesome stream, guys. I believe most web developers are not great designers. Would it be beneficial for a web dev to learn UI UX design? And what we will say is absolutely. I think it's one of the key components you could have hidden in your back pocket. You come in as a full stack developer or back end developer, and then you just blow their minds with your design skills.
Yeah. It's what takes you from a junior front end developer to a senior front end developer, having that difference in that visual skill. Yeah.
Yep. So I think it's absolutely killer. Guys, thank you so much. Drop a like for the video if you're here and you've been enjoying this content. Let's keep sending it out to more and more people. Let's break that 1,000 mark. And with that said, let's continue with the value bombs. So
touching base now onto back to the technical stuff, guys. So back to the technical nitty-gritty. What the hell is a framework, guys? We always are asking, like, which framework do I learn? Is it like Angular, Vue, React? JavaScript's always evolving. It's always changing. So how do you know which framework to start on? And Kazi, like, when you first entered this domain, what was your thoughts on that?
I was very confused with especially the web development. It was just like, I'm like, let me just do Python, because Python was just Python. And then web development was like, Vue, React, Angular, this, that other thing. And I'm like, that seems like too much is going on.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot going on. So we're here to clear that up for you today, guys, on what you should focus all of your attention on. So
and here are the most popular. Go ahead.
The most popular ones that we're going to cover, guys, are the first one. You've probably heard of this, Angular. It's Google's framework, right? So you have Google's framework. It's very popular. It grew quite a lot. But it's sort of on the downward trend right now. And then they had Vue. I'm not actually sure. Kazi, do you know who actually came out with Vue? I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know who came out with Vue.
Very lightweight library, extremely sort of popular. It's very opinionated, but it sort of surpassed Angular. And then the guys at Facebook just came along and just like blew everyone's mind with like React. Like they came along.
I love this.
And they just took it to a whole new level, you know, like. They have we gone to the next slide?
We're on React.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So this one, guys, this is by the guys over at Facebook, and this is obviously if you're new to the channel, go ahead and check out the last few videos, and we'll clear up what React is. So yeah, massive companies are using all three of these right now, guys. So you've got Airbnb, Instagram, Uber Eats, Dropbox using React. You've got Guardian, Upwork, PayPal, Sony using Angular, and then you've got Alibaba and a bunch of others using Vue. But how do you know which one to choose from these? So like, Kazi, what would you look at when you would make this decision?
That's really important. I honestly, a few things I always look at, which is why I looked at Python as well. I look for simplicity and ease of use. I almost put that above so many other things. Just because I want to know what's the learning curve? Can I pick it up fast? And then I also look at how long is this thing here to stay? So like, is it popular? Is it picked up by a lot of people? And then of course I want to look at like what companies, are using it. So when I see like, I look at the Guardian and I'm like, that's cool, but Airbnb is like more badass, you know? Like Upwork is
Yeah.
cute, but Instagram is really where it's at.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah. So, I mean, I think all of them are being used by popular, but I strive for simplicity and something that's just, you know, popular and
Yeah.
trending right now.
Exactly. So with that said, guys, we went ahead and checked out Stack Overflow and wanted to see what the most wanted framework was. And you guys guessed it right. It's React.
Whoa, we just broke 1,000 viewers
Oh,
concurrent. We're over 1,000 viewers on YouTube. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
thank you guys.
Damn, that is
Amazing.
amazing. Let's keep it rolling. So go ahead.
Thank you guys. So the number one most wanted framework right now is flying with React, right? So it's at the
Yes.
top. You've got React. So guys, there is no downfall right now to learning React. React is here to stay. You can be sure for the next 5 years, if you learn React, you're going to have a job. You're going to have some kind of income that will come from that. So definitely worth investing your time.
Yep. And it's the most wanted framework. Now, if we
Yeah.
go over here, you guys can see React is just flying off. And this is actually like, look, this is the real download. So this is not just some popularity. This is literally download. So take a look at this versus Angular versus Vue. And honestly, a
Yep.
lot of the reason with Angular is because it's too, it forces you into a framework and it
Yep.
forces you to code a certain way. Whereas with React, it's not a framework. It's just a library. It's super lightweight. So it's plug and play. And then it's also badass. And, you know,
Yep.
it's pretty much just like JavaScript under the hood.
Yeah. So next time you guys have that question of should I learn Angular, should I learn Vue? Think about this like visual right here. Like Angular is going off, React is going off the chart. So
Oh,
there
this
we have it,
visual.
guys.
Oh, okay. This visual right here. Okay. I think you were talking about this visual. Because I'm like, that other visual makes me not want to, you know.
If you guys
War-
laughed at that, drop a thumbs up.
Warrior says this is insane. You guys are lit. We're always lit. Somebody also said this is like watching two friends just kind of give us advice. So that's cool.
Hey, I love that. It is, guys. It is two friends just giving you guys advice.
So
Amazing.
what is this over here?
Right. So yeah, so we talked about React. So we're going to dive a bit more into React, guys. So React is all about component-based design. And what that means, guys, is literally you go ahead and break a website down into different components, the header, the nav bar, the body, the text, and all like as in like the cards on Amazon, all of those things, and you basically just reuse them, right? So it's literally like once you get the hang of that, the reason why it really relates here, guys, it's actually super simple. It's actually really easy to go ahead and reuse components. So getting your head around the component-based design is crucial if you're going to
Super
move into
important.
React.
Now,
Yeah.
managing data in React, like how does this work? So when it comes to managing data in Redux, this is where people start to kind of lose their shit and start going crazy. And this is why in our clones that we make, like Amazon clone, where we use context API, where we start to introduce the idea of Redux, and we built another tutorial, I think with Spotify, where we used context API. So this is
Yeah.
another concept which introduces things like data layers and you needing to understand that, which is super powerful and super valuable once you learn it. And the step-by-step process of learning is learn context API first and then get into Redux, and is the easiest way to do it. Sunny, your thoughts on this?
Exactly what Kazi said, pretty much. So, guys, the minute you kind of hear about Redux and you look at tutorials for Redux, this is your reaction. It's pretty much like, oh my God, like it's kind of freaking me out and stuff. So, all we're gonna say here is pretty much like Kazi said, go ahead, learn the React context API first, learn that pattern, and then picking up Redux is kind of easy. So it's gonna be a lot simpler than as if you was just jumping straight into Redux for the first time. So
So
the next one, yeah, React context API is gonna be a lot easier to learn and pick up. And if you are interested in the builds that we done, we actually went ahead and done that. So you can definitely use those as reference.
Yep, and you know we have a free training for you guys. It's Profit with JavaScript free training, so you guys can go ahead and sign up for it at any time. We have a webinar that we've put together, so 1 hour free webinar. It's in the description below. So if you guys want to go ahead and check that out, definitely go ahead and sign up for it because it just gives you the exact roadmap to, you know, here we're diving deep into the front-end developer guide and your roadmap. In that one, we're talking about how are you going to go from your $0 to making $100,000. Whether you do that in 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years, it's really the roadmap to learning the coding skills and the practicality of your first $100,000. So I put that in the description below. click that link and then sign up for that training. It's freaking awesome.
Definitely go check that out, guys. Free value, so definitely worth checking out. Now, I included this one because I have a lot of people who do ask about something called MobX, right? I had a question about it before. It says basically another opinionated version of like managing data within a React app. Honestly, my viewpoint here is if anyone has this question, go ahead and use React Context API and then Redux. If you want to do this, it's just kind of a cool thing to learn. But honestly, if you want to land a job, Redux is the way to go.
Got it. And now check out the live builds that we have free on YouTube. All right. So Bruce Buffer is endorsing us apparently. And over here, you can see we got the Zoom clone. I mean, I know it's really hard for you guys to see, but we got the Zoom clone that we made recently. We made a Spotify clone for you guys. We made the TikTok clone. That's at, in 6 days, we have over 117,000 people watch that one. And a lot of them built it out. We built a YouTube clone for you guys so you can see the exact front-end design for YouTube. And then we also did the Tinder clone and then a bunch of more stuff. So go ahead and, guys, like that's all there for free on YouTube. So make sure you get value from that as well.
Exactly. And guys, if you've watched any of these and you found value from that, just all we ask is you smash the thumbs up button, and that's enough for us.
We break the thumbs up button.
Exactly.
Now,
Awesome.
Okay, so what's this? What am I looking at?
All right, so next, guys, we have design libraries. So what are design libraries? They help us achieve that clean UI. They help us to achieve things like that grid system that we spoke about earlier. So here are two popular ones. One's called Material UI, one's called Bootstrap. Now, they give us things like icon sets, so we can use, like, we've used it in a lot of our builds. So, like, having those clean, flat buttons which have the responsive click and that Google sort of ripple effect, and also that responsive design, both Material UI and Bootstrap are going to help you achieve that. Now, we spoke about React. Both of them are very, very heavily supported with React. They have React Bootstrap, and Material UI out by default supports React. So, definitely worth something looking into, guys.
Yep. Awesome. So now we have Node and NPM. So now let's talk about what is Node and what is NPM. Is it on the next slides or do we got to talk about it now?
No, it's on here. So Node, guys, in case you're wondering, because I know it can be confusing when you see JavaScript and Node.js. And you're like, oh, I mean, aren't they the same thing, right? So we talked about it earlier. Front-end development is in JavaScript. Whenever you have any back-end stuff, or any code which sits on a server somewhere, that's Node.js. So that's like living on a server somewhere, and it runs in something called Node.js. Now, NPM is how you pull in essentially other packages and other modules into your code. So if you're going to use Material UI or Bootstrap, you would use NPM. Now, NPM stands for Node Package Manager, and it basically, whenever you write a piece of code that you want to share with others, you store it on the Node registry, and then other people can go ahead and pull it. So definitely worth. We do use that in everything.
100%. Now over here we got NPM and we got Yarn, and oftentimes people say, how do I choose? So how do you choose, Sunny?
Right, so this is very sort of opinionated. Yarn is quite a powerful one to use. It's very clean, actually. And I used to be a firm believer in sticking with NPM, but I would actually go ahead and use Yarn. But guys, whatever you decide to use, just stick to the one. Like, as in, you can learn both. There's no harm at all. But don't have your project and sometimes you do NPM, sometimes you do Yarn. Just stick to one, and that's going to be your sort of clear enough. And guys, if you go into a job and they're using Yarn, carry on using Yarn. If you go into a job they're using NPM, carry on using NPM. It's really not a big decision, and it's not as scary as everyone thinks.
Yep. Travel Tools says, I was 0 in React. I watched all the clones. Now I know React, Context API, and he says Sunny's way of teaching is the best on YouTube.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Travel Tools.
So go watch those.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead and check those out. Love that.
Now, what is Firebase and why is it so useful for a front-end developer? Now, guys, what's beautiful about Firebase, this thing is going to blow your mind, is you actually don't even need a backend like Node. You can actually do real-time database. You can do user authentication. You can do pretty much everything you could do with a normal database, including hosting your website. You can do all of that with Firebase.
Yeah. Massive value here, guys. So Firebase is provided by Google, A bunch of different tools are included in Firebase, and literally what Kazi said is what they do. So it's pretty much they wanted to alleviate and get rid of that headache with the back end and sort of you. They just want you to focus on your front end development. They want you to make beautiful apps and make it simple for you to deploy them, host them, handle authentication, and all that stuff. So we're going to run through some of the things that Firebase offer, which can help you as a front end developer.
Yep. So Firebase can do hosting, and
Yep.
it also allows you to think 100 million users,
Yep.
and you guys should also think about 100 million users always. So when your
Yep.
app has 100 million users, can it handle it? And with Firebase, the answer is yes, it can actually handle it, and it do it automatically for you.
Exactly. Scales up, scales down just by itself. So very simple to go ahead and do that. We also have the cloud, we have the real-time Firestore database. So guys, this is amazing like power behind this. And I don't think anyone realizes until you actually go ahead and play with it. Without doing any back-end stuff, you get a real-time database. So like literally, if you've got messages coming through, you don't have to do any magic behind that. It will just come through on your front end with very minimal code, like literally 3 lines of code, and you can have something coming through. So extreme power of the real-time database.
And what's up with this?
Yeah, so here, guys, a lot of you guys are asking about machine learning. Can we do it? Can we do it? Or like, do we need Python? If you guys are interested in machine learning, you can combine something called TensorFlow JS, which is a way of training models in machine learning with with Firebase, and you can actually have really, really powerful machine learning functionality with Firestore.
Jacked front end developer.
Yeah, like all of this is like crazy, guys. Like you can do all of this very simply. And on the
Yeah.
next slide, there's a little diagram showing you about how we can train a model and then we can serve it using Firebase. So
Yep.
really
So
powerful stuff.
the training is taking place here, right? And then serving is all happening with Firebase, and Firebase is all front end. Like what? What is
Yeah,
happening? What is life? So that's the beautiful thing.
exactly.
So even if you don't understand machine learning, you're sitting here going, "What am I looking at?" Doesn't matter. Like the whole idea is that with Firebase, it's possible. So even if you learned it later, you could do it. Just to tell you how
Nice.
far you can push it with this
Whoa,
authentication.
dude, check this out. Marush Shashai says, Sunny and Kazi, I got promoted yesterday because of learning React from your Tinder clone. Many thanks for sharing.
Whoa.
It's amazing. Well done, dude. We love that. We helped you out. That's amazing.
Let me actually see this. Um, that's awesome. Yeah, I got Marusa Sunny, and yeah, I got promoted. That's awesome. Thank you so much, dude. I'm pumped for you. That's huge.
Yeah,
We
massive.
got Frank in the house. Patan says, "Wow, this guy is coding in 2021." You know us. We're in the future. We'll wait for
Exactly.
everybody else to catch up, guys. We're all in the future. Everybody who's here, it's a culture. We're freaking driven. We're grateful. We're all pumped. That's the culture that we're building in the team, and I feel like that's what we have even in the community.
Exactly.
On the user authentication side, guys, I imagine as a front-end developer, you can actually add Google authentication, Facebook authentication, Twitter authentication, GitHub, regular email, or even with the phone. Like all of this, you guys can add with Firebase, and it's super simple to be able to do that with Firebase.
Yeah, as a full stack developer, guys, I can tell you at first hand, doing that is not a simple task. But Firebase make it extremely simple to do user authentication. So
Yep.
save yourself the hassle. Use Firebase when you're doing it.
Exactly. And thank you, Frankie, for removing those messages because I was about to do that. Guys, keep the chat positive. Otherwise, you're going to get blocked. We want the culture to be just filled with positive and amazing people. So let's keep the positivity going. We read all of your comments. If you want to be a part of this community, bring positivity, bring love. And those are the people that are more than welcome here. Cloud
Exactly.
functions with Firebase. I mean, you can actually do this from front end. And this essentially allows you to be able to do all the backend functionality you could ever dream of. Cloud functions allow you to do that, and they allow you to do it kind of from the front end. So that's a really beautiful thing. Anything
Yep.
else you want to touch base on with this before we move forward?
Just really powerful. Basically, if you ever need some backend functionality, guys, don't go ahead and start up an Express server or something like that. Your answer would be in Cloud Functions, in case anyone was wondering that. So definitely go ahead and learn those if you're interested in doing some kind of backend with your front end.
Yep. Here is an amazing comment from the Good Gamer, and he says, "I got a job as a developer. Thanks, Kazi. I've not done any tutorials, but I followed your other videos and Django course." Damn,
Amazing. Nice.
that is
That's
amazing,
awesome.
man. Pumped to hear that.
Well done.
So let's go here now. Now storage, Firebase also allows you to do all the storage. So when you're storing media, when you want your media to be optimized and served in the fastest way possible, Firebase handles that. When you want to have a database and you want to store things, videos, anything like that, Firebase can handle that for you as well.
Yeah, exactly. They do they do a bunch of analytics and test lab stuff. So analytics, keeping track of your users, who's doing what on your platform is massively useful and insightful, especially as your business grows. Firebase Test Lab, guys, if you build an app, Firebase Test Lab literally will check that app across so many different physical devices, and it will show you screenshots of how the app looks on every single one of those devices automatically, which is insane. Like that's really, really insane, really powerful, especially when you want your app to work on everyone's device and be universal. So really, really powerful stuff.
Super powerful. Henrik says, do you have a tutorial using Firebase? Almost every single one of our clones that we built on our YouTube channel over the last few weeks, you guys can go and watch them. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Messenger clone, Tinder clone, Netflix clone, all of them pretty much are using Firebase. So you can watch them. They're amazing tutorials on how to use Firebase.
Yep, exactly.
It allows you to grow your business. It allows you A/B testing, cloud messaging, in-app messaging. All that good stuff comes with Firebase built in. Now, what's the best part about Firebase? Do you guys want to know?
Exactly. Well, let's go for it.
And what is that, Sonny?
Guys, it's free, it's fast, and it's easy to use. Free to a limit, guys. So all the use cases which you guys are probably going to be using it for, completely free. So you guys can go ahead, even deploying your apps, guys, it will give you a really beautiful little URL, which is actually completely fine to keep that URL as your primary URL. And you can pretty much host it forever for free. So definitely, and it's the easiest hosting solution I've ever seen when it comes to a web app. So definitely worth going ahead and doing that.
Agreed. Now, let's move on into which code editor should I use, because we've talked about Firebase, and I think Firebase is phenomenal, and hopefully you guys love that too. But I think one thing a lot of people want to know is what code editor should I use? So here we got, that code editor war. Should I use WebStorm? Should I use Visual Studio Code, Sublime, or Atom? What do you recommend, Sonny?
So I've kind of gone through a bunch of these. I used Sublime at one point, I used Atom, but now by far, guys, just for the simplicity of how you add on extensions and sort of the growth of it, VS Code, guys. VS Code is so powerful, it's ridiculous. Like I would really, really recommend, and we're going to run through some of the stuff as to some of the reasons as to why we're firm believers that it's definitely the best code editor for you guys.
Yep. And here, now we're going to jump into also the extensions that are actually the most powerful for VS Code. I think one extension alone makes it that you can't go and look anywhere else. The one extension that comes to my mind is called Live Share. This alone makes me feel like you can never use anything. Like Atom is just like, it seems like it's from 1930s now. And so does every other editor that I could dream of. The Live Share means Sonny and I can code remotely. He's in London, I'm in US, on the same freaking code editor, and it feels like your local host. It's not screen share, it's not team viewer, it's literally the same exact thing. So he's seeing it in perfect resolution. He has access to my command line, my localhost 3000, and even when my browser localhost 3000 is up, he can actually view the website and everything.
Exactly, guys, it's so powerful, and just for that one extension alone, it's worth downloading it and just giving it a try. So really, really powerful stuff. We've got a few others which are not worth mentioning. We've got Prettier. So a lot of us hate doing that indentation. We hate adding spaces, how many stuff. It's very opinionated. So like we just want it so when you hit save, it just formats all your code and keeps it concise. Prettier does that for you. Really, really handy stuff. Any others worth mentioning here, Kazi?
The other ones that I think are worth mentioning here, I like brackets a lot. So in JavaScript and React and all this, one thing that was annoying to me as a Python user is like, oh my God, so many freaking squiggly brackets and parentheses, and it's insane. And then semicolons, and you miss one of those and your code just doesn't work, and it's hard to see, it's hard to visualize. So what this does is it gives you matching brackets. So you guys see how this red one over here closes this red one right over there, right? And then the yellow one closes the yellow one. So each bracket having its own color is very, very useful because you know where easily it opens, where it closes, and you never will have that problem again. Another extension that's important to mention is this snippets one, where for
Yeah.
React, it's super important where you can just do RFCE and boom, it just makes a component for you. I think that's
Yeah.
pretty damn handy. But in terms of the usefulness of it, like I think, all of these are pretty important. The ones we use the most is Prettier. I think another one that gets used a lot if you're doing remote programming is LiveShare. And then I would say the snippets and then the brackets.
Yeah, exactly. So on the next slide, we touch base on pretty much what we spoke about. The linters and formatters that you need are Prettier, ESLint, and ES7 snippets. In my opinion, they are really, really something which is going to dial you in and make you much faster at what you do. Also, one that we haven't put on here, guys, I think it's built into VS Code by default. It's called Emmet. Emmet is really powerful, guys. It's how you'll see when I'm coding sometimes, I'll just write div dot and then I'll have some stuff on there, and it's very, very powerful in order to write HTML very fast. So definitely
Got it.
worth checking out.
Cool. So
Nice.
these are your linters, right? ESLint, Prettier, and ES7 snippets. So you guys can use these. These are good for linting and formatting. And what that
Yeah.
means is some of them will check your code. So I think
Yeah.
Prettier will format your code and make it look pretty. Lint will tell you like, this looks wrong. You're using the wrong type of pattern here, or like it'll like highlight, hey, you shouldn't use this many characters in one line, things like that, right, Sonny?
Yeah. Do you know where the lint came from, the name? I didn't know this until like literally about a week ago. You know those linters that you put on your clothing?
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's like picking up the fluff of your code. That's why it's called ESLint.
Do you know where
It's like
debugging? Do you know where debugging came from?
yeah, they found a fly, right? In one of the first computers or something.
Yeah, they would get flies or cockroaches and things like that in the physical computer, so they would debug by taking them out. They would take out the
That's
bugs from the
insane.
computer.
Love that.
I don't know. I
Nice.
think Frankie or somebody told me that.
Yeah.
VS Code, LiveShare, important extension.
Yeah.
Pair programming. This is how Sunny and I usually program. And
Exactly.
the blonde one is me, especially when it comes to React.
That's so funny. All right.
So
Guys,
nice.
how do you, but like with all this said, like how do you go ahead and learn? Like what's our advice to you guys if you're new to this journey? Like how do you go ahead and learn? So we've got a few things on the slides coming up. So we've got YouTube. So we've got YouTube, and from YouTube, we're talking about our tutorials, completely free, guys. You can go ahead and check them out. We've also got, we also recommend that you go ahead and join a community, guys. So whether it be Facebook, whether it be LinkedIn, whether you record your journey on Instagram, or whether it be Discord, or even Slack. So like we actually have an internal Slack community, which we go ahead and recommend. Definitely something worth checking out. Kazi,
Yep.
what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think these communities are super important. This is why in Profit with JavaScript, we just developed a curated community of people. Profit with JavaScript is our paid coaching, paid program for JavaScript, where we teach you these skills. But really, the community, like you kind of come for the course, but you stay for the people. You stay for the community. And so we
Yeah.
got over 1,300 members, and they're just so freaking amazing and dialed in. But guys, it doesn't matter whether you join our community or somebody else's. Just make sure you're part of some community. I think it's important. It helps you keep moving forward, and it keeps you accountable. And yeah, the people matter.
Yeah.
So join a
definitely.
community. And should we talk about Profit with JavaScript right now, or I think we can talk about it a little bit later?
Yeah, we can talk about it afterwards. Yeah.
Okay.
So guys, something. Yeah, go for it, Kazi.
So what is tutorial hell? Sunny, you can talk about this actually.
Yeah, so guys, what we find is like a lot of people, what they do is they tend to sort of follow tutorials that they see, whether it be on YouTube or like a Stack Overflow tutorial. And then what they'll do is they'll copy it line by line. And what you'll end up with is like you'll finish 10 projects, for example, but you basically like you haven't really learned anything. You just have 10 cool projects that you can show. But if I was to go in and change something or break something, you wouldn't be able to tell me like how to fix it or something like that. And then we call that tutorial hub because if you feel like you're doing all these tutorials, but you're just not learning anything, right? So
Yeah.
my best advice in this case is don't, whenever you do that, either one, extend onto what you've built. So if you built a YouTube clone, add some functionality to the YouTube clone so that it then goes further than what was taught inside of that. Any other tips on how to get out of tutorial hell?
I think just build real projects, you guys. Like Dribble, like for example, if you're a front-end developer, look at what's on Dribble, build that. Look at what inspires you, build it. Don't get stuck in tutorial hell. Move on and actually start doing useful stuff with what you learned.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to fundamentals, master them. Okay.
Yeah, master them, guys. And the reason why we added this slide is because it really it's a huge step, and it's going to be the difference between you moving very fast and you moving extremely slow. Like, go ahead, break down the fundamentals, and use things like W3 Schools. W3 Schools is amazing. At
I
giving you
love
a
this, by
breakdown.
the way. I just wanted to throw this in here.
Yeah.
Epic Zeus says, you guys are like Assassin's Creed, forming a brotherhood of next-gen programmers. We work in the dark to serve the light.
Hey, love that. Nice. Awesome comment by Epic Zeus. That's a cool name as well, Epic Zeus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a pretty dope name.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so
So,
yeah, guys, mastering the fundamentals. And what is one of those
Jesus
fundamentals?
fucking
I
Christ.
love this gift.
That is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Oh my God. So one of the fundamentals, guys, is Git and GitHub, and you guys have to learn that. And for those of you who know about Git merge, nobody ever wants to see it happen. It's not fun.
Yeah.
But you got to learn it. I think it is very, very important. A lot of people are saying lag, but I think we're going to keep going until it just ends.
Yeah, I think it's cleared up now. Yeah, we're good.
Yep. So why
Right.
you need to know Git and GitHub? Why is this important, Sonny? I don't care about it. I don't need to know about it, right? You know, I can just become a developer without it.
That's what I thought, dude. But every single professional job that you go in, any team environment where you've got more than one developer, they don't work together by sharing the files, right? They work together with Git, right? You need to know Git if you're going to be a professional web developer, whether it be freelancing and you're jumping into a team of sort of developers, or you're going into a permanent position. You need to know Git, and because what happens is they store their code on something called a repository, and then basically you need to learn how to push code to that repository, pull code from. So if another developer's done some work, you can pull that in. All of those things are covered with Git, right? Now the most popular platform that uses Git is GitHub. You've also got GitLabs and a few others, but I really recommend getting familiar with GitHub. It's the most popular. It's owned by Microsoft now, and it's here to stay. So it's definitely getting more powerful. Definitely worth investing your time in that.
Yeah, and remember, guys, one thing I think that's confusing: Git is not GitHub.
Yeah.
A lot of people get that confusion. GitHub is like Dropbox for code. GitHub is like Google Drive for code. GitHub is just like a place where you put your code. That's it. So GitHub is not that important to learn. Like, it doesn't matter if you use GitHub or if you use Bitbucket. That's not that. Git, you must learn Git. This is version control. This is the time machine for your code. If you mess something up, you can go back in time. So
exactly, really good point. Time machine, yeah. Like, and also, guys, it can be scary, I know, when you're trying to learn GitHub with the terminal. So if you guys are experiencing that sort of fear, or you're like, oh, I don't want to touch anything because I'm freaking out and I'm going to break something, then something I recommend is something called Git Kraken, which is actually a really nice interface for Git. And you can pretty much drag and drop your branches and do all your stuff very visually. So if you are afraid of it, go ahead and check out Git Kraken. Really handy GUI for handling Git. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important. I sometimes mention that too. So awesome. So let's go back. Henrik, when he watched that part, where Git is not GitHub, he asked earlier, like, what's the difference between them? And then he's like, oh, that's for me. So guys, just to kind of recap, we touched on a lot of things and we still have a bunch of things to go, but we talked about frameworks, right? And why React is a framework that you should actually pick. We talked about that HTML and JavaScript is what you need to know to become a developer, front-end developer. And we've touched on other things like, which code editor you should use, but we still have some other things we're going to touch on moving forward. Okay, so just stay buckled in. We're going to keep going. And if you're here and you're enjoying this, make sure to like the video so it goes out to other people. Please. Helps us a lot.
Definitely, please do that.
We beg you.
Massively appreciate it.
All right, cool. Now, what is a preprocessor? Now, go ahead, Sonny.
Go for it. Yeah, so a preprocessor, guys, is pretty much, it applies to CSS. So we talked about the three fundamentals, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. When we're talking about preprocessors, all about CSS, right? And what it does basically is it's kind of like, think of it simply as an upgrade to your CSS, right? So with Sass, they introduced, so on the next slide, we've got three really popular ones. We've got Sass, Post CSS, and Less, right? They're quite opinionated. You can use whatever one you prefer. Sass was quite a popular one that I saw. and it basically introduced something called like variables into your CSS, which was really really powerful, guys. And it also allowed you to do nesting and a bunch of other stuff. So it basically made it more maintainable to go ahead and use CSS. I think post CSS and CSS modules also prevents one of the common problems that we run into where, for example, in React, you developing components, right? So if you have two different files and you have the same class name in each of those files, you can have like overriding rules without realizing. By using these libraries, it actually goes ahead and adds an additional class name to it, so you never get that issue. So
Wow.
even if you had the same class names, it wouldn't actually clash. So really important things here, very subtle, but very important if you want to become that next level developer.
Yep. Awesome. All right. So let's move to the next one. Styled components. So what are these, Sunny?
So this is in React, we use styled components. I really am a big fan of styled components. I think we'll actually go ahead and include this in the next build. Basically, in React, you have something called props, and it's very difficult sometimes to have like, how do you use your variables, so like your JavaScript variables with CSS? For example, if you've got like a variable which was true or false, how do you apply that with your CSS? Styled components is your answer. It allows you to very simply go ahead and do that. And you can pretty much basically go ahead and use your props in a component and conditionally render your style based on those variables. So really, really powerful stuff. Yeah, really, really
Nice.
depth, and it's here to stay, guys. A lot of big companies use it. Yeah.
Beautiful. We just got another super chat by Dpunk. Thank you for that.
Thank you very
Really
much.
appreciate it. We're over $21 in super chat, so thank you guys. All right.
Nice.
Now,
We
Steve says
touched base.
much less useful. Now we have CSS variables natively.
Really good point, actually. Yeah. So that's the reason why SAS is being less used now. I'm also going to touch on a point
SAS is
soon.
being less used.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so like because we have CSS variables natively now, it's actually not as needed as it used to be, and there's quite a few issues with it. But we're going to talk about a few things which actually helps you alleviate the problems that you experience with SAS. So
Yep.
one of them is CSS modules, which we spoke about. If you have two files with the same class names, this is going to help you avoid that problem.
Mhm.
And the next one is SAS actually allowed you to do something called nesting, right? But the problem was that people used to nest like 5 levels deep. They would have like, let's just say like card underscore title underscore text underscore like a link or something like that. And it just got super complicated. So BEM is a really good naming convention, which I recommend everyone goes and learns. We actually use this in all of our builds. Really, really important stuff. I hated it when I started, by the way, guys. I really didn't see the value in BEM. So I'm somebody who got converted on this, and I really do live by it now. So something definitely to worth learning. And Kazi's a big fan of BEM now too.
Oh yeah, now I know about this. Now,
Nice.
guys, with PWA, oftentimes we get that question like, hey, what's a PWA? Which actually was a question I had in the chat when we were coding, and then Steve answered. But like, this is progressive web apps. So this is where you're coding in a way where literally like whatever you're building will essentially be turned into a mobile app as well for a phone, and it's like native. So that's a little bit about how progressive web apps work. Do you want to add anything on this, Sunny?
I think on the next slide we have a really nice breakdown. So basically, you're coding like a web app, but it's very very similar to a native app, right? So here's a bunch of features of a PWA. So you have it's fully responsive and it has a very high browser compatibility rate. When you
Yeah.
use create React app with React, it is making a PWA. Just in case you're wondering, it works offline. So you can use something like service workers. Service workers make the app super fast and allow that offline sort of functionality which you get with a normal app. It has like an app-like interface, so you can actually go ahead and click the more option on like an iPhone, for example, and you can add it to your home screen, and it actually gives you a native app fill. So it goes onto your home screen, and it even removes the browser, the bar at the top when you open it. So it's like super clean. You can also get push notifications, which is really important. But I don't know why, and if Apple or whatever watched this video, I don't know. Can you guys hurry up on that? Because Android allowed push notifications on PWAs for a very long time, but Apple was still on the fence with it. So it's been a big discussion, and they're really pushing for it. But I really do want them to do that. But you can get push notifications on a PWA. Yeah.
Nice. And you've already talked about that it's fast with service workers. So these are the
Yeah.
features of PWA. Awesome.
Exactly.
Now you got a lot of type checkers like TypeScript, and then you got Flow.
Yeah.
Here's TypeScript. And oftentimes
And
people are like, what is TypeScript? So what is TypeScript, Sonny?
so it's a superset of JavaScript. So it basically sits on top. So it's not like a different language or anything like that. It's just like a layer on top of JavaScript. And basically, if you came from a Java background or any strongly typed language background, then you'll know what types are, right? So JavaScript's a weakly typed language, which means that you don't have to say that a string is going to be a string. You don't have to say that a number is going to be a number, etc., or a number is going to be an integer. But with TypeScript, you now get that functionality, and it also gives you a bunch of other things like inheritance and all these other things that you had in those strongly typed languages. So it's basically like the visual here. It's like a super jacked up JavaScript,
JavaScript.
right?
Nice. I
Yeah.
love that image. Alex goes, thanks for the comment shout out, clever programmer. But I've been asking this and just got aired. Are you planning to make an 8-hour long video for learning React.js? Yes, we are. It's going to be probably 12 hours long.
Yeah.
And it's going to
Really,
have
really
like
awesome.
a lot of amazing content in it. So let's move forward with this. This is TypeScript versus Flow.
Yeah. So guys, literally this is a big opinionated debate, and I've actually got into huge debates in actual professional companies where we talk about, are we going to use TypeScript or are we going to use Flow? My opinion on this matter is use TypeScript because it's much more sort of picked up now. It's much more in use. It's much more robust, and the power, and it's actually supported by Microsoft, I believe. So it's actually they're working on it as well, but it's more of an official superset of JavaScript as
Well,
opposed
I
to
think
Flow.
that it has a new name now, which I think you probably haven't heard about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's actually called HypeScript.
This is where we need the bell, you know?
Hey, hold on. Let me
Hey.
drop that shit right now. Hey, just drop that thing. So, yeah, guys, look into it. All right, we got Dino. So, what's the hype all about?
Right. So Dino, we always see comments flying in about Dino. And yes, guys, if you're interested in about Dino, we can go ahead and make a video about it. It's basically a runtime environment. So just like you have Node.js, right, which runs on the servers, Dino also runs on servers, and it's pretty much a case of it's like a more modern version of Node.js. So out of the box, it supports TypeScript, whereas Node.js, you have to install a bunch of things to get TypeScript. So that's an example of the difference. It also comes with a bunch of, it's built in Rust, I believe, so it's very optimal, it's very fast. I think it may pick up, but it's very early in that journey. So definitely
Yep.
something which I mean is it's one of those cool things. If you're interested in this and you're enjoying the video, sure, go check out Dino and we can make a video on that.
Awesome. All right. So now let's get into there's stuff going on here with Webpack. So Webpack is pretty
Yeah.
important to learn. Why is this important? Why should we care?
So yeah, so when you're learning, especially when you're trying to build progressive web apps, I recommend you kind of start with create React apps. You don't have to jump in and learn Webpack because they basically get rid of that headache for you. But when you go into a professional environment and you're doing any sort of JavaScript, you can be sure that they're going to actually be handling the build process with Webpack by itself, or something like rollup.js, which is a different one. But basically what this does, guys, is it bundles your app, so all the files, all the CSS, all of those things into one bundle, which is then served, and that's what the user sees as an end goal, right? So definitely
Nice.
something which is quite important, and you should go ahead and learn.
Yep, definitely. Dev tools, guys. Master Chrome Dev tools. You can do so much with this thing. This is probably one of the most important things. I mean, I don't even know how you can develop apps or develop web stuff without doing this, because that's
Yeah.
the number one way I started learning. But this is pretty much that thing you do when you go on Chrome and you right click and inspect, right? The thing that pops up that allows you to do everything. So like if I was just to demo it for anybody that doesn't know about this, like literally if you go on YouTube right now, you should know how to use things like dev tools at a very basic level at least, and then you can master, but you should master them. So, for people who have never like looked into it, let's wait for this to pop up. There. Oh, damn. Our freaking video is the first recommendation. Let's go.
Hey, nice.
So
Check that out.
nice. So now, guys, over here, we got Logan Paul. He's thinking about YouTube. We have Grant Cardone talking about how to close over the phone. But I can actually hit inspect. Yeah. And then I can even choose this, and I can go ahead and literally change the name of this thing over here, or find out how YouTube is using, how is YouTube formatting this, how are they using HTML and CSS, and I can then use that to reverse engineer this into kind of my own app, and you guys can go ahead and change like some of the copy that's on here. So
Exactly.
this is something this is something I actually do pretty regularly, because I want to put my video here and check what it actually looks like. So we can actually say, we're going to be dropping our Twitter clone project tomorrow with React JS, and you can see, boom, it just popped that in. So this is just a basic example of this. I'm sure most of you probably know how to use it more than this. And it's going to be one of your most important tools to use. So dev tools in Chrome, 100% learn that.
Yeah, and also, guys, if you're debugging, console logging everything out is a really good way of debugging. So you definitely need to use dev tools when you're console logging.
Yep,
Yep.
100%. So let's go to next one. What is this?
This is the React profiler. So when you're coding with React, it's all about, once you get to a certain level, it's about making your React app optimal so that you know that it's only re-rendering what it needs to re-render. The React profiler is just, you access it in the same way that Kazi showed you how you access the inspector. But you need to install it, I believe, on the Chrome extensions. But basically, guys, it's a very, very good way of checking what's rendering inside your React app and how many times it's re-rendering. It also allows you to manipulate the state and the props. So you can actually go in ahead and you can go and check out, and you can change the state and props. So when you're sort of building out an app, it can really help you out.
And Asif just wrote a good comment. He says, stick with Node for now. Dino's community is not that big as it is very new. And that's a very good point, you guys. For now, before you jump on the hype train of Dino, stick with Node. Kind of learn Dino for like hobby projects. Do stuff on the side so you're just aware of it. But NPM isn't going to go anywhere. It's going to be there for pretty much for a really long time. And if Dino really starts to take off, then more seriously start looking into it. But, I do say that the hype train matters. If you catch trends, that helps put you ahead of people. So, I think it's not a bad idea just to, even as a hobby, play around with it and kind of get to know it.
Yeah, definitely. And guys, it's just going to make you a better front-end developer when you mess around with these tools and you sort of get more and more used to all of these things. So no harm with going ahead and learning it.
100%. Now, native apps and React Native, what is this?
Yeah, so guys, if you code in React, just know that you're going to get the benefit of actually then transferring pretty much like 90% of that knowledge to something called React Native. And React Native allows you to build native iOS and Android apps. So really, really powerful to be able to do that. And I've actually firsthand done this, and you can get full native apps with the same React code base pretty much. So really, really powerful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And Electron allows you to make desktop apps. So this is Electron JS, right? That's the library.
Yeah, I think Slack is actually built with Electron.
I think Slack is built with Electron, and yesterday I discovered something else pretty huge was built with Electron. Somebody messaged me on Instagram saying some garbage. Zaki actually, he usually says really great things, but he sent a message saying something funny, and then I responded to him. Let me see if I can actually pull up his message, because that was pretty insightful. I mean, you can talk about this for a second while I look for it.
Yeah. So guys, really, really useful stuff here. Like the fact is, like, if you know what Slack is, you know how popular and you know how much that's taken off. It just shows you that yes, you can make money from like mobile apps and web apps. But guys, remember, their desktop apps started the whole thing off, right? Like having like Microsoft Word, having those things actually started up the whole.
I got it. Zaki sent me a message on Instagram, and he said, "No offense, but Electron JS is crap. With normal Windows development, you just need to learn C# with some XML, some C# with some XML, and you're set." So that's it. Pretty easy, huh? And then he goes, "Personally, I'd rather learn that instead of Electron, but JS is definitely powerful with no cap." And I responded to him and I said, Visual Studio Code is built with Electron JS. And also, Slack is built with Electron JS. So I'm like, I'd ease up on calling that crap.
Yeah. Visual Studio Code is what you're going to be using to code that C sharp that you were talking about.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, 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 yeah. Damn. Yeah. So, that's what it is. Like, it's a valuable thing. Learn it. I think it can be helpful if you want to make desktop apps. Now let's talk about testing frameworks. So
yeah.
testing. So let's talk about unit versus integration versus functional testing.
Yeah,
So
so
go
three
ahead.
different types, guys. We've got an example here called of jest called and basically that's an example of unit. Unit testing is when we test one specific area of an app, right? Or like a website. So it's a very specific thing, right? Integration is when we integrate two different areas of an app and we test it together. So like, does this screen work with this screen, or does the sort of functionality with this one crossing over with this one work together? And then functional is like, as a user, if I do a login and I go through the entire journey, is it everything working? So you see, like, there's a big difference between the three. Jest is a very, very common unit testing framework which is used, and they usually combine it with something called enzyme. So on the next side, we have enzyme, and here we have it's basically a very,
Yo,
very popular. Yo,
I'm sorry. I just want to interrupt you for a second. Elizabeth, who's also, Flucher Code,
yeah,
and she said, and she was supposed to have a few interviews this week. I think she's actually in LA right now. And she said she was having a few interviews. And she said right now, I had a major interview for a QA test engineer position. While
nice.
demoing my projects, I casually left my deployed Netflix app up in the browser and dropped it in. They asked me to come back for the next round.
Oh, that's nice. That's awesome. Especially if you're doing QA, guys, they're gonna look at that and be like, "Whoa, this person can like code this
Yeah.
stuff." Oh wow, we just got a $5 donation.
Oh,
Thank you, guys.
nice. Thank you so much. And AT1 Modus says, hey, Kazi, you helped me to go from zero coding knowledge to QA automation tester way back in Chicago 5 years ago.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that is amazing. Um,
Damn.
Dude, can you drop your name in the chat? Because I think, like, I personally worked with you in person 5 years ago. Like, literally, I used to work with him in Panera Bread on teaching him coding. So that would be awesome if you
Really?
did that. Yeah, I think so.
Damn. Nice.
Before we started Clever Programmer. But what Flucher Code was saying earlier was like the Netflix clone that we actually built a few days ago. And she had that open on the interview. So you guys, this stuff is powerful. This can actually help you land jobs. And then she went ahead and Flucher Code said, I know my updated portfolio, thanks to Clever Programmer, is getting recognized by companies for sure. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Love that.
Yep, that makes us super, super happy. All right, so we got Jest out of the way. Now, what's up
Yeah.
with, what is this,
So,
Enzyme?
so Jest is a unit testing framework that is most of the time in React. We combine it with Enzyme. So Enzyme's a testing utility for React, and it basically allows you to test the user interface very easily. So like if I click this button, is the expected change on the page going to happen or not, right? And it allows you to test all of that extremely fast. And what people tend to do is something called test-driven development, where they'll write these tests using Enzyme and Jest first, and then they would basically build the functionality until the test passes. So something to definitely take
Hey,
into
he
consideration.
dropped it in and he said, yes, it's Modesto from Panera. Yep, we used to work
Oh,
at
nice.
Panera Bread. Man, that is
That's
awesome. Thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate it. And that is amazing. That was before any Clever Programmer, any of that. That was a great time. So I appreciate you
wow.
for sticking around and even now, like, helping out.
That's insane, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this,
The
go ahead.
Yeah, so we talked about Enzyme. Enzyme's a really popular one. But what the problem was is that when sort of React really quickly evolved, so we started seeing hooks and those sort of things, Enzyme quickly kind of got pushed to the side, and React testing library is now part of Create React app by default. So this is a testing library, and it supports hooks. It supports all of the latest features. And when you use Create React app, you notice me and Kazi usually delete these files. But if we're gonna eventually, we'll teach you, we'll teach you guys how to go ahead and
We
build them.
personally don't like to test a lot.
Yeah, we test through like testing ourselves. But in a professional environment, I guess, yeah, we could go ahead and teach some testing at some point.
Like in a professional environment, you would have Modesto and he would be helping out with testing. You would actually have somebody who has a job as a QA engineer who's doing the testing. And so that way but I mean, I think it's still important to learn test-driven development. And I used to do it actually, but I think it's just I'm lazy and I avoid it.
Yeah, and honestly, guys, my take on that is if you know how to do testing well, for example, if you get an interview and they ask you to build something, if you write some unit tests in that interview, watch them go a bit crazy. Like that's my honest advice to you guys. Just
Oh,
write a couple of
damn.
tests and they will look at you and they'll put you above everyone else who submitted just by writing a few unit tests. So just a little top tip there. Yeah.
That's important. That's actually really important to know
Yeah.
that. So you guys get your testing right, and then you can actually, I think everybody should be getting tested right now, anyway,
Yeah.
because of the. But get this right, and you'll probably get a job too.
So the next one, guys, is functional testing. We spoke about unit, we spoke about integration, but functional is when it's basically mimicking what a user would do inside your app. So an amazing one that I really recommend you guys go ahead and play with is something called Cypress.io. And basically, like if you want to log in the entire login journey, see if everything's working, you can pretty much record the journey and literally do it as you would do it, and then it will programmatically write the code for you, which is amazing. And then you just click run and it'll basically run through your entire app super fast. And you can do this in a really a productive way, and you can have this running in the background when every time you push your code. Something definitely worth looking into. Now, you guys might have heard of something called Selenium. Selenium is
That Modesto got a job doing Selenium.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
Yeah. So Selenium was the most popular automation testing framework for a very long time, but it was quite clunky. And then the guys over at who made Cypress.io saw that it was clunky and saw it was outdated, so they went ahead and built Cypress. And Cypress I think it's only for Chrome, but it works so fast compared to Selenium. So guys, I really would recommend you just play with Cypress if you haven't ever tried that before, and it's really easy to pick up. Yeah.
So yeah, try Cypress, you guys. And just want to say that we broke 18,000 views so far.
Nice.
So thank you guys so much for that. We're only an hour and 25 minutes into it. We still got a lot more value bombs coming for you guys. But just to recap, you guys, we've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about SaaS. We've talked about React being the framework that you should choose. We've talked about learning JavaScript. We've talked about learning Firebase and how that will be your front end, your back end, your hosting, cloud messaging, like all of those things all in one database. We have talked about, even now we're talking about, we talked about coding editors, which coding editor is best. So Visual Studio Code was our recommendation. And right now we're talking about, what testing frameworks you should use. And between Cypress and Selenium and all these ones, we recommend use Cypress. So there's a lot that we've covered, but there's still a lot more that we're going to be covering. So keep taking notes, have a legal pad next to you, because this is one of those videos that can really, if you watch it and you follow everything that's laid out in here, you can very realistically have a job plan, 3, 6 month, 12-month plan, like a solid plan that can actually land you a job.
Exactly. We also covered, just to add on to that list, we actually covered the 5 key concepts for as a visual, visual design element.
Visual
when
design
you're a
too.
Developer. Yeah.
Right.
So really important stuff.
And guys, one thing I want to say is, I don't know, I think yesterday might have been the biggest day of our subscribers. I kind of just want to check real quick, but we're hitting a lot of crazy number of subscribers thanks to you guys, because you guys are coming in for the live streams. And oh my god, look at this is actually the biggest day we have ever had.
God.
So
wow.
Look at this is our subscribers column, and if you guys take a look at this, you guys are helping us fly. And we were hitting 1,000, and then after you guys started jumping in, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Yesterday was the biggest day we had in a really long time, and that was 5,000. So thank you guys so much for subscribing to the channel and really just showing us your love. And one reason I want to give you to subscribe to the channel, which is actually I think really important, is we're going to be dropping the Twitter clone. We're going to be dropping the Twitter clone tomorrow. So if you subscribe to the channel, I don't want you to miss out on it. It's going to come up like a nice notification on your phone all the way at the top. So when you subscribe, make sure to turn the bell notifications on. So just like Gary V's videos or whoever's videos you watch show up right here, Graham Stephan or Grant Cardone or whoever you watch, our Twitter clone will pop up right there. And then you can just click it. Whether you're bored, you're in a line, you're waiting for something, or you just want to like learn and build it and add it to your portfolio, you can just click and jump in. So go ahead if you want to build Twitter clone project and these types of things that we're building on a regular basis, subscribe to this channel right now, please. And then turn on the bell notifications alongside it.
Definitely. Make sure you guys don't miss that. Tomorrow will be a lot of fun. And it'll be your chance, if you haven't already, to do your first build or add to your portfolio if you've been following us.
Yep. So what's up with the server-side rendering?
Yeah, so this is a hot topic when it comes to sort of front-end development. So server-side rendering, if you guys don't know what it is, it's when most of the time when we sort of build a React app or any sort of app, it's usually sort of we go on a web page, we request the web page, and then they basically send us all the files. Everything sort of loads, the JavaScript loads on our browser, right? Now, that works pretty quick for the most part. But what if you want the website to be super fast? Like if you want it to basically, as soon as you go on that website, snap, the thing's loaded. So what happens is with server-side rendering, basically when you make that request, so when I go into, for example, google.com or something like that, what's going to happen is we send that request. Google's servers does all of the heavy lifting. So it basically gets the entire web page bundled together, right? So it bundles the entire web page together, and then it just serves the entire thing at once. Right, so it basically does all the JavaScript calculations, all that sort of that stuff, which usually does take time on the page. And what does this mean? It means that the time to interaction is less. So that's a crucial thing when you're a front-end developer. How quick is the time to interact? Well, what I mean by that is when you click on, like, say, for example, you go on Facebook.com, how quickly is it before you can start playing around with the page? Right?
Yeah.
That's crucial, guys. As a front-end developer, you want that time to interact to be as low as possible. Server-side rendering is the answer to get that down.
Damn. Awesome. I think we complemented your words very nicely with the written.
Yeah, that's really nice. Awesome.
Awesome. So let's go here. So what's this? Next.js.
So yeah, Next.js is one of the most popular server-side rendering frameworks, and it's very hot right now. So if you're looking in this space, I would recommend maybe look at Preact. Preact is a very lightweight version of doing server-side rendering, but Next.js is the one to use if you're going to go ahead and do it in a professional environment. And I did actually use this. So in America, you have Walmart. In England, you have something called Tesco. Tesco is like the size of Walmart pretty much. And they use Next.js in that to render their web pages. So it's massive. And basically it's extremely powerful. It also offers a bunch of like power-ups to React out of the box. So really, really something to definitely go ahead and play with. It's a different way of thinking, but it is kind of, once you learn it, it's going to pay off. The value will pay off. It'll be very valuable to an employer. Yeah. So it's definitely something which I recommend you guys go ahead and look at. And it's also going to take you, this will definitely take you guys from a mid-level front-end developer to a senior. Like you need this to be considered like a senior level developer when we're talking about seniority inside of a company.
Dang. Yep. That is powerful. By the way, guys, are these captions that we're providing for what Sunny is saying or what I am saying, are these actually helpful and valuable to you? But I mean, to me, Sunny, this is actually super helpful because it's almost like we're making the slide on the fly.
Yeah, honestly, I find it really, really helpful. Even me reading over it, it clears everything up. So yeah, definitely let us know in the comments, guys, if you guys find that valuable. And if you do, just simply hit the thumbs up button as well. Like that's all we are.
Nice. That was a clean, just smooth one. It was my favorite because it didn't even make sense, but I like it. Yeah, I love it. Okay, so build time. What am I looking at here?
Right, so this is actually moving on to the next thing, which is called where if you hit next, it'll jump up. It was basically we're talking about static site.
I'm kidding.
Static site generators. So the text I think comes on the click. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about static site generators. So Kazi, what is a static site generator? So have you ever used one?
Yeah, you know me. I was using Jekyll before I even knew what coding was. I was freaking using Jekyll like crazy. I don't know. Anybody use Jekyll here? Drop it in the comments below. I think it's also.
I saw it in a blog post today, and I started laughing because I remember you said it. Hugo, right? Yeah, yeah, Hugo.
Yeah, so I know like most of the people. Yeah, I see Ali and Hendrik. They're saying actually it's very helpful. Logan says very valuable. 81 Modus. Modesta says yes. Awesome. So yeah, this stuff. Are you laughing at what just Sunny just said? Yeah, you're. Frankie's laughing too. So this makes your site really really fast. So static site generators I think are kind of useful to know. Static site generators also GitHub Pages generate static sites, right? But there are things like Jekyll that you want to know where they can take your dynamic content and turn it into static sites.
I just find it so funny because when you said Jekyll, I had no idea what it meant.
Yeah, you were so confused. You're like, what is this?
Yeah, guys, basically what Jekyll's going to do is going to take all your content, it's going to make it into one static like bundle, and then it's just going to serve that bundle whenever anyone requests or goes onto your page, which is a lot faster than it sounds. Like typically when you go onto a website, that JavaScript that you've coded actually has to load dynamically on the browser. But when you've got a static site generator, you basically make that bundle once and it just serves it every time. So really, really handy to actually go ahead and build something. And if you're looking for speed, static site generators are your answer. The most
They are.
popular one is
Ooh.
Gatsby. So Gatsby is on
Hey.
fire, really, really popular right now. If you've got any kind of sales page, e-commerce site, or anything, Gatsby is a really, really powerful thing, or landing page or portfolio. If you go ahead and build a portfolio and say this is written in Gatsby, it's going to be quite impressive to like show to an employer. So I'd recommend that you do that if you have got a portfolio. Really, really awesome thing to go ahead and guys, these are all things that you can just like add to your skill set. Like if you can say I know React, that's great, that's really good. But if you can then go ahead and say I can do server-side rendering, my portfolio, like I know a portfolio is very simple, but if you can say this portfolio is server-side rendered, or like this portfolio is built on React
Oh.
or on Gatsby, it kind of just adds that sort of like, oh, like this
If I
guy's
was the
like gone.
employer, I would get butterflies in my tummy. If you told me your freaking portfolio's on using Next.js, I'd be like,
Yeah,
holy crap.
because the employer is going
Let's
to know
talk
that he didn't
after
need to
the
do that, but
interview.
he just did that.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy shit. Okay, awesome. So what's going on here? So we got these are all the static site frameworks, right?
Yeah, these are a lot of and Next.js is also a static site.
Hey, Jekyll made it up here. Nice. What's Nux, bro? I always hear about this. It just sounds so dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard about it, but I've never looked into it. All I know is Gatsby and Next.
I think they're just getting clout from Next.js traffic that misspells it. They download
Yeah.
Nuxt by mistake. So Next.js is the real one, and then Nuxt is something else.
Yeah, this is proper stupid name.
So what's the difference between Gatsby and Next.js, Sunny?
So Gatsby is just a static site generator, guys. Next.js handles server-side rendering and also gives you the static site generator advantages. So if you're looking at sort of debating between the two, I would recommend Next.js is going to provide you more value. So I would go ahead and jump into that.
So your
And also,
React app, your React dynamic app, you'll probably use Next.js, but maybe if you're hosting your portfolio or something static like that, use Gatsby.
yes, because Gatsby, yeah, very good point there. Yeah, Gatsby is going to be quite easier to implement over Next.js. So I'd recommend going ahead and yeah, using Gatsby. If you've got like a simple landing page or something fast, you need up and running and you need it easy to maintain Gatsby. If you're looking for a long-term benefit or you're looking for to something to get something out there or you're trying to build your portfolio for a professional environment, Next.js. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Cool.
definitely something worth investing your time in.
Awesome. Let's
Yeah.
go to next. Uh, oh, somebody said Nuxt is typically Next.js, but for Vue.js.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And thank
I
you.
didn't
The
know that.
greatest
Yeah.
ever says, gonna be watching this tomorrow because I'm finishing up the Spotify clone, but want to thank you guys deeply and dearly for the amazing work the whole team is doing. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. I mean, yeah, we're all working right now. So this slide was put together by Sunny and also Alex. Right now,
Yeah.
Frankie is
Even
sitting
Amanath. Yeah.
and Amanath. from the Clever
Yeah.
Programmer team. I came in and helped. There are a bunch of slides that are coming in from like the previous slides that we had all made together. Frankie is working on responding to every single person, making sure everything is going phenomenally well. So a lot of the chat is me and also Frankie. And so yeah, guys, it's like everything, every single one of these every day is like a really big team effort. So thank you guys for being here and also just taking the time to appreciate that. Thank you. Now,
Thank you, guys.
if you guys are still not sure how to get started, or you guys want to figure out how to make money as a developer, let me know. Are you guys interested in learning how to make money as a developer? This part we wanted to add in for you guys to show you how you can actually start going out and making money as a front-end developer or whatever type of developer you want to become today. So this will be the part with freelancing tips, with tips of getting your jobs. If you're interested, let me know and let's go.
Let's do it. So the first avenue, guys, is what, Kazi?
The first avenue is becoming, I love this, becoming a teacher. So you can actually, with whatever skills you have learned, you can actually teach that to other people and you can make an income from doing that. Like, for example, okay, this is the craziest example, but you guys see, we're just teaching you guys. We're teachers, right? Sunny and I are teachers. Sunny and I are not just like going crazy working at a job right now. We're actually taking the time out to actually teach you guys. And we're even getting donations and we're getting paid to teach, literally. And so what it looks like at a one-on-one basis is you can actually post your ad on Craigslist. And you could post your ads on Kijiji if you're in Canada, or you can post your ad on really whatever platform you want, and somebody can pay you for you to teach them. And you don't have to be so far ahead of them. You could just be a little bit ahead of them and charge them for teaching them.
Yeah, exactly. And guys, this is one that I really emphasize in our course a lot with our students, because this is the one that you can literally start doing even a week after you start learning how to code. Like, if you're a week ahead of somebody who's never coded before, you're now in a position to provide a week's worth of value to somebody who's never coded before. So you can actually go ahead and start teaching that, right? And then only from that day onwards, that value only grows, right? So if you're immediately going to grow your income source, and the earlier you start, the better. And it is uncomfortable, but like when you just dive into the deep end, you're going to go ahead and build that skill. And it's always going to be a skill that you can turn to make some more income.
Yep. Now, this is one way that we'd like to show it to you guys, okay? So let me go ahead and do that for you guys. So let's go ahead here and take a look at this, what Sunny is saying, right? So Sunny, you're saying if I have, like literally, if you think about levels, right? Let's say you're a complete beginner and you're at level 1. You just know how to write hello world. And then here is level 10, where you use server-side rendering for fucking breakfast. So in between all these levels, and then let's say you're doing JavaScript, you don't have to, you can use any language, Python or Go, it doesn't matter, but let's just use JavaScript for now. And if you're a level 1, can you teach another level 1? Probably not really, right? If all you know is hello world, you can't really teach much to another person who also knows hello world. So if you are over here, and actually, let's do this, right? So they're like, let's say there's 2 people here and here. And you're like, let's say you're on the left-hand side and you're teaching this person, okay? And this is over here. I'm just gonna put a little mark, and that's gonna say that's you, okay? Now, if you're teaching this person, they're gonna be paying you in return. And if you're a level 2, it's very possible that you can actually be teaching somebody who's a level 1.
100%.
Right? Because you can teach them. So like, for example, what does a level 2 mean? Maybe you have put in, at level 2, maybe you've put in like 50 hours into coding. Okay.
Let's say you know how to write functions, loops, data types. You know that stuff in level 2.
Yeah, you know what an array is. You know what, so for example, right now you can charge this person. You could charge them maybe like $10 an hour or $15 an hour. So I'll just put like, $10 at that point. You can charge them an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you get up to level 3 and you can teach a level 2, you're going to get paid more for that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So now you might actually make maybe more than $10 an hour. Maybe now you can make like $18 an hour teaching.
I just want to stress here, guys, notice now that your pool of potential students has also grown. Now you can target level 2 and level 1 students.
Yep. You can target, exactly. That's important. So you could target both. That's huge. That's a really
Yep.
good point. And then what happens when you're a level 4 or you're a level 5, let's say, right? If you're a level 5, well, what does a level 5 look like? I think a level 5 is somebody who has put multiple, they've like followed of all of our YouTube videos and made all the clones.
Yep, exactly.
They understand like how APIs work. They understand how, how to put together like their portfolio, and they have multiple projects to show for it. Maybe they don't have real world coding experience where they're getting paid at a job, but other than that, they're like pretty decent.
Yeah.
Right. And that might actually look like what, maybe 500 hours of coding, or maybe, 500 to like 700 hours of coding.
Yeah.
Might actually put you here. And now at this level, you guys can actually charge a pretty significant amount of income. So if you're a level 5 and you're teaching level 4s and stuff like that, it's very possible for you guys to make, at least in US, for your own countries, you would have to do the rough translation. But in US, it's very possible for you to charge $35 an hour or even $50 an hour. And you have experience with teaching people, right, Sunny?
I definitely do, yeah. So even literally, and guys, there's no age limit when you come to teaching. I've taught people who are like much older than me, and I've also taught a student who was young as 12 years old who landed his own client, which is insane. Like,
that's crazy.
So it really does not matter what age or what experience you're at, you can teach. Yeah.
Yep. And so if you are teaching other people, you just have to do the math, right? So at $35 an hour, I use teaching to make well over $100,000 a year. Now, of course, everybody's going to be at a different level, different, like how much effort you put into it, how much time you put into it. But a few of these clients that are paying you either $35 or $50 an hour, the math to getting to $1,000 a month, like that's the first type of math you should do. So let's figure out, Sunny, how long would it take? Like what it would take for us at $50 an hour to get to making $1,000 a month. Okay. So if I'm making 50, generally when you have students, they'll do about 2-hour long sessions. How long are your sessions with your students? They're 1 hour, 30 minutes.
Yeah, typically I start with 1 hour because it's quite an intense session, and then I'll eventually see, and if they can handle a 2-hour session, so max let's say 2 hours. I don't push more than 2.
Yeah, okay, because they get fried in that time. So let's say you're doing 1 hour sessions.
Yeah.
At $50 an hour.
Yeah.
Right. You're doing 1 session per week.
Yeah.
Okay. So 1x per week, that turns out to be 4 sessions per month, right?
Yeah.
And how much is that, you guys? If you have 1 student at, you're doing 4 times a month at $50 an hour, in 1 month, that is $200.
Yeah.
Now, what happens what do we need to do, Sunny, to get up to, with the same exact math, to get up to 1,000 a month?
We just need to land 5 students.
Yep.
Guys.
That's it. So
or increase the frequency of a student, but landing 5 students is going to get you that, yeah.
Yep. So you can go both ways. What's important, what Sunny just said. So you guys can it's really hard to increase the price at 50. I mean, it's hard to go with that student to 75 or 100. To double the price would be tough. But what might be a lot more doable is maybe Sunny can start to have 2-hour lessons with those students. And now that student will pay Sunny $400 a month.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Or Sunny can get a total of 5 students they each do 4x a month sessions at $50 an hour. And now that's $1,000 a month.
Yeah. And guys, something I want to stress at this point, when you get very good at having a lot more students and you can actually get to a point where you can do group sessions. So if you find that you're running out of time or you find that you're getting like kind of intense with the timings, you
Yeah.
can go ahead and run. I wouldn't recommend having large groups because you lose the one-to-one, but
Yeah.
you can go definitely go ahead and actually go ahead and split like maybe and have a group of three, group of four,
Yep.
and do
And
group
you can
sessions.
even
Yeah.
give them a discount, right? So for example, if you were charging them 50, maybe you charge them 40 per session,
Yeah.
but now it's a group session. So in 1 hour, instead of you making $50, now with 3 students, you make 120 in an hour of your time.
Exactly.
And it's a good deal for all of them
Yeah, it's actually a better deal than them doing one-on-one if they do a
because
group.
they all become a part of the group too. And they can all
Yeah,
Slack each other, they can all message each other. So that's powerful.
definitely.
So I think that one of the best ways for almost all of you guys, including the ones who have a job, I think is like, guys, what would you do if you had extra $1,000 a month coming in? Start dropping it in the comments below. You know, what
Love
would the
that.
$1,000 a month allow you to do? Would it allow you to, pay your bills? Would you get Netflix membership? Would you get membership to, I know gyms are closed, but maybe would you get like calisthenics equipment for your home and then do workouts there? Would you get a course that you've always wanted? Would you, I don't know, pay for your parents' rent and help out? What would $1,000 a month allow you to do? I think it's important to have those goals because then you will actually want to do more and achieve more rather than just like
Exactly.
going through life like a zombie.
Yep. And these guys, it's really important to determine what your why is. Like, why are you doing this stuff? Like, why are you teaching? Why are you even here right now trying to learn how to code? Like, remember that because that is going to give you that consistent discipline and motivation to carry on when times get tough.
Yep. So like for example, Sunny can't sit there through like hundreds or thousands of hours of coding and then like through all the debugging and all the frustration of not making something work where literally he's trying to figure out one goddamn trick with Flexbox and it takes him 7 hours of like, how does this grow shrink thing work? Or like,
Yeah.
why, is it zero point 0.8 or is 0.9 flex? And how does he or somebody like me get through so much coding? If our why was weak and we didn't have a good reason, we would not get through any of that. If so,
Exactly.
it has to be something more important to you than just money.
Exactly. We can see
So
a few
go
answers
ahead.
are coming in now for what people would spend with 1,000. So it would allow me to pay my rents and also pay my sibling fees and get to meet some of their basic needs. Awesome.
Nice. Mark says I would
It'll allow.
invest in stuff and develop myself.
Nice.
And Ken Lab says he get a wife. Nice. Douglas says I would join Profit with JavaScript. Awesome.
Awesome. Hey, nice.
So let's go back to what we're talking about here, you guys. So now this is the math to getting to 1,000 a month, you guys. It's not that freaking hard. Now to go to 2,000 a month, what do you need to do? And guys, here's a better way to look at it. This is not 1,000 a month. This is actually, let me write that up top at the top left. This is actually 5 students is 12,000 a year.
Yeah.
That's the right way to look at it. It's actually 5,000, or it's actually 12,000 a year.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to get to 24,000 a year or 2,000 a month, 10 students.
And you guys can see the growth here from 5 to 10 students isn't actually a lot, but the growth in your income is significant,
Yes,
right?
very significant. So this is something you guys can do, guys, so easily. Like their Instagram, you can go and Instagram people on coding channels and start having conversations with them and say, I will help you for free for 60 minutes in coding. I will jump on a video call with you and help you. You can go into a Facebook group and ask people if they need help and give them a free session. And then at the end of the free session, say, hey, I'm glad you enjoyed this. If you want me to help you more, I charge $25 an hour. I charge $10 an hour. I charge $35 an hour, $50 an hour, something like that. Does that make sense, you guys? You guys can literally do this today. You don't need to wait for anything. You don't need to wait for anyone. So this is possible for you guys. Now, there are online tons of amazing platforms where you guys can go and start teaching. So we'll give you more ways of making income, but this is actually one really big pillar of having your income come in. So we'll talk about some of those platforms right now, and then we're going to go ahead and continue with the video. But there are important platforms that you guys should know and write down. So one is takelessons.com, and the other one is wiseant.com. So these are really good platforms located in the US that are great for finding lessons. But if you're not in the US, look at people per hour, look at fiverr.com.
Yeah.
And also, you guys have Facebook and Instagram, which is worldwide, right? You can go into groups, programming groups, and help people there. And you can get clients from there very easily. Okay, we have some students try this strategy and they literally have clients the next day. And of course, I think Craigslist is worldwide, so use Craigslist as well. And we'll list out all of these resources for you guys at the end.
And also, guys, one worth mentioning is Instagram. So literally, if you just go ahead and document your journey as a developer, you'll actually be surprised at how many people reach out and ask for help, ask for this and that. And you can actually then convert that to a potential student that you start teaching.
Yep, exactly. So I'm going to go ahead. And now, guys, this works if you're working extremely hard and you can teach people who are, literally one level behind you. You don't have to be so far ahead of them to teach them, remember? So you can be a level 2 teaching a level 1. You can be a level 5 teaching everybody underneath it. So let me go ahead and save this and then go here. And I'm going to remove this now. Cool. So let's move forward here. Now, I'm going to skip through a little bit of this, you guys, and we're going to go, I even have some math here. You can take a look at it, but if you want to go on the Instagram route or Facebook route where you kind of want to do hand-to-hand combat, you can DM 100 people. Something interesting, like not, please, sorry, mammy, can you please, I beg you, wee. That's like 99% of the messages I get in my DMs. So don't do that. That'll be bad. Nobody will respond to you. You'll get ignored. But if you give them a good message that's like positive, hey, I see you are crushing it at skateboarding. Absolutely love that. And I see that you're also doing coding. Pump for you. That's it. Don't ask anything. Don't want anything. Don't need anything. Don't beg. Don't put more than one question mark ever. Even in our chat, if I ever see more than one question mark ever, I never respond to that person. So, be a clean, giving, caring human being. And if you send those messages, 20 people out of the 100 will respond to you. Okay? 5 will you can get on a call with 5 of those people. If you close one person, that's just from one client, you're going to make $320 a month. Now, you can do this strategy whether you want to freelance and actually code for people and build websites or build apps for them. And this will work for you even if you want to do it for coaching. Okay? This works for both. Now, one student or one client can be worth up to $3,000 to $4,000 a year, if not more. Just one. All right? So that is a pretty important and helpful thing for you guys to know. Now, if you want to go from $3,000 a month and you're like, hey, how do I actually take that from $3,000 and go, that $3,000 a month, guys, is actually $36,000 a year. So that's always important to kind of remember that. And I'm going to kind of move past some of these. And here's the resources you guys can use. So you guys can use Facebook groups. And Sunny, you want to talk about some of these resources as well?
Yeah. So we have Facebook groups. We talked about Instagram, Wyzant, and Take Lessons. Kazi has showed that they proved if you're in the US, they work really good. People per hour, Craigslist is something which you'd be surprised actually works. Upwork, Fiverr, LinkedIn is actually surprisingly good, guys.
Yes.
So a lot of people do reach out and go on. And LinkedIn is something where it's like a growth thing. Like you build up that network, and you'll be surprised at what like if somebody would just share your name and say, "I know a guy who can code." And before you know it, you have a lot of my sort of jobs have actually been through word of mouth, surprisingly. So yeah, definitely go ahead and check out LinkedIn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go check those out. Now, guys, one thing I just want to say is just like a direct message to you. You are watching this right now. Yes, literally you. I'm looking at you. 99% of you are going to do nothing with this information. Okay? You're going to do absolutely nothing. And I love you, but it's also the truth. It's just the hard truth. It sucks. I'm going to even say it's less than 1% of the people that are going to actually take action on it. But my goal is just that 1% person, just one person to take action out of the 20,000 that watch this or 50,000 that watch this. That's the only person I care about. The only person I care about here is like Modesto, who 5 years later messaged in the YouTube and he said, "Hey, I got a job as a QA engineer because of our sessions that we would do." So
Yeah.
to that one person who's actually going to do something on it, here's what I want to tell you. Please take action on this. And what I want from you is literally next
Oh, you hit the
you to
mute.
get an Instagram message that says you landed a job, that says you landed a client, and you just sharing that with us, whether it's on our live streams on YouTube that we're doing every day, or whether it's an Instagram DM to me or Sunny, right? Our Instagram handles are right there. And so
Exactly.
that's what we're looking for. That one person to take action on this information and go, "Hey, I actually landed a client. Nothing is stopping you from literally reaching out to 500 people today." I mean, what are you doing anyway? It's COVID. You can't go out. So you're bored. Spend that time and reach out to 300 people or 500 people and send them something useful and helpful. And then say, "Hey, I'm willing to jump on free calls and give you help in coding and teach you coding." I promise you're going to get one client at the very minimum just this week. And then what we want to know is you saying, "Hey, I got that client." I don't care even if they're paying you $2 an hour. But that's what we want to know. So that's the one person I'm saying this message for.
Exactly. Guys, you heard him. Like literally that one person out there, like it's just the truth, guys. Like a lot of people will watch it and they'll be like, "This is cool," but like who's gonna actually take action and go ahead and do the things that they need to do to go and change their life? Because you just need to take action.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Don't think about it. Don't like overthink it. Just start doing it right
Yep.
now, right today. Literally straight after this live stream, go ahead and do it.
Yep. Alexandro says, "I earned $8,500 from just one student, from one QT in the previous academic year."
Nice. That's amazing,
That's
dude.
so if he had 10 of those students, he would be making $85,000 a year just from that.
Exactly.
Ashkan, execution, guys. I advise everyone to execute. So do that, Ashkan. And he says, "I myself don't do that." We're going to tell you to do it. Henrik says, "I will be that 0.1%. If there's one person
Awesome.
we're making this video for, is that person who takes action on it. So if that's going to be you, Henrik, I will personally talk to you and I will personally get on a call with you. Like, that brings me the most joy that we're sharing something that you guys have take action on. And then if you do this and you land a client or a job or whatever, I would want to bring you on the Skype call with Sunny and I. Or Sunny and I would just even want to just call you and talk to you about the results.
100%. We wouldn't even hesitate. Literally, if you take action on it and you get some results, like 100%, we'll jump on a call with you.
Yep. So awesome. Love you guys. So now let's move on to Mark says, "I am already on LinkedIn and Upwork, but I still see myself as a beginner, but I'm hungry." Guys, don't say no for the other person. This is one thing I learned from Gary Vee, which is beautiful. Apply to the job that you're thinking about. Actually like send out the messages on Take Lessons, Wyzant, or whatever platforms to get clients. If you're a beginner, maybe you can still provide some value. At the very worst case, you can give refund or you can give them money back guarantee, right? But don't say no for the other person. Go all the way. Now,
Exactly.
with that said, let's continue on here. So boom, got tons of things. So working from home. Now you guys can use tons of online platforms if you want to do freelancing. The reason why we mentioned teaching is I think it's the easiest thing to get into. It's also a thing you can
Yeah.
scale up forever. Like we're teaching you right now.
Exactly.
So talk to me about this, Sunny.
Yeah, so we spoke about number one, which was teaching, and that's definitely something you guys can do right now. But when you obviously in teaching, I just want to add to one thing, guys. Like when you teach, it makes you such a better developer. Like I can't stress that enough. Every single live stream that we teach, every single time I teach a student, I become a better developer because you're teaching that principle. You're teaching the ability to code. So you actually naturally just become a better developer. So you'll naturally grow to a position where you can offer value to clients. You can offer value, and that's where freelancing comes in as number two. So three really good sites here to land freelancing clients. We've got Upwork, freelancer.com, and TopTool, right?
Yep.
The one sort of recommend here as being the most successful is Upwork, because freelancer.com, you can get into sort of some battles with sort of trying to bid for things. But again, if you build up quite a handsome sort of portfolio on freelancer.com, I've seen people do really, really well on there.
Yep.
And guys, a really nice benefit to freelancing is also it's remote. So most of you who are watching from different parts of the world right now, you guys can tap into different markets. You can tap into the United States, you can tap into London, you can tap into any market you want, provided you just build that skill. If you
Yes.
build that skill, the ability to freelance is in literally. And guys, this is one thing I want to stress here: you can scale to very, very high numbers when you're just freelancing.
Big numbers. We have a student in our program, Profitable Shortcut. Last month, he called me. He did $28,000 in cash from freelancing.
That's insane. That's insane.
He did, and then within the first 10 days of, within the first 10 days of the next month after that, this guy did $12,000 already. So
That's insane.
crushing it and freelancing and doing scraping, web scraping and automation and all kinds of things. But he's just hustling and grinding and getting it done. There's tons of opportunity out there, but people just, they just don't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
by the way, I want to say, guys, we just broke 20,000 views on this video total. Over 20,000
Amazing.
times it's been viewed. So thank you guys so much for the love. And I do want to say a lot of it is because of you watching this and you hitting that like button, because it did help send it out to more and more people. And if you're watching this and you still haven't done that, go ahead and just hit that like button, because guys, we want to make as many developers on the planet as possible. That's our mission.
Exactly.
And that's awesome. So now, boom, with that said, the third step that you guys would want to do is, the second thing we talked about is freelancing. The third is getting a permanent job. That's a lot of what people want to do, but people go about it, I feel like, kind of in a backwards way, where the first thing that they're looking for is a permanent job. And that's really hard to get, you guys, when you're just starting out as a developer. And that's why most people I know quit. Most people I know quit within 1 year. Almost every single person. Very few people stay after that 1 year mark and end up getting a job. So I think that's a very discouraging route to go. I think it's not the smartest or even the fastest route to go. I think the fastest route to grow skill-wise is to first teach. It's going to grow your own skills the most. You're going to be getting paid while you are learning yourself. And then I think step two, you should try to get, so I think you should start teaching in your first 3 months of coding. Okay, you should start teaching within that time frame. Then around your 6th or 9th month, you should actually start doing freelancing. And then after a year or year and a half of experience, I think you should go for a full job. Definitely curious to hear your thoughts on this too, Sunny.
Yeah, I would definitely say, guys, and I just want to kind of rule out a myth here. So the way that you typically see this is, like Kazi said, it's very backwards, right? Like what I usually see is people will go to university and then they would like study for 3-4 years, never had made a single penny when it comes to like their coding abilities, and then they would go straight to step three, which is a permanent job. And you see, like
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't
No.
make any sense. Like literally, you could watch your YouTube videos and you could sit there, teach yourself how to code through like YouTube videos, through us guys, through W3 schools or a bunch of online resources. Start teaching like through the methods we spoke about before, start earning an income, and then you build up that skill set. From teaching, you build up the ability to build up an income, and you can grow that income at a rate that's very comfortable for you.
Yeah.
You then become a better programmer, you can land freelance clients, and then all of that experience becomes
Yes.
extremely attractive
Yep.
to an employer.
And
So you
that's a
naturally
secret
get
to
that job.
having years of experience before ever having a job.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that,
Yeah,
like, it's almost
100%.
like that
Guys,
circular thing that everybody always talks about. You know, it's like you must have 2 years of experience and it's an entry level job, and you're like,
yeah, exactly. And the truth is, guys, if you go to an employer and they said 5 years experience and you only had 1 year, but your 1 year consisted of you teaching a bunch of students, killing it with freelancing jobs, I'm telling you, they would forget about that 5 years of experience and they would consider taking you on board.
yep,
Like it really does. It just comes down to what you can offer them in terms of value. So honestly, focus on what you can like provide in terms of value and that skill that you can offer, as opposed to going the traditional route of
yep.
like university and then straight to the permanent position. It just doesn't work that way in real
Yep.
life.
Cold Wakeman says, I don't like teaching. Can I just do step 2 straight away? Yeah. I mean, it's gonna, as long as you can develop the skill of coding and keep getting good, yeah, you can do step 2 of freelancing pretty much right away. So here's how I break it down, you guys. So we call this the modern JavaScript developer pyramid of wealth. And we feel like this is how you can kind of stack all this on top of each other. So one, it's learn the coding skills to become a modern JavaScript developer. So that's just coding skills. Learn that. Step 2 is you can start coaching people. Now this is you can be a beginner and coach other people. And the time to build a stream of income is 1 to 3 months. All right.
Yeah.
And you can get this stream of income up to $3,000 a month, if not more. This is more on the conservative side. And next up, you can actually work freelance. So this is, you can work for clients independently, and you can get this up to, now you can get, with just freelancing alone, you can realistically be making 5K a month. Right, Sunny?
Yeah, 100%. And guys, again, like Kazi said, this is conservative. So you can actually raise those numbers up,
Yep.
provided on how hard you're working.
And you can build a stream of income within your first 4 to 12 months of learning to code. Okay. First 4 to 12 months. Just put in a lot of hours into coding. Okay. A lot of people are like, hey, how did I start getting clients in 3 months of experience? I just coded like 15 to 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then,
And guys, it's just to add on there, guys, it stacks up. So while
yeah.
you have the freelancing, you can carry on the coaching. So it can stack up. Yeah.
Yep. I love that. Kwang says, you guys are so good and the community's standard is so high. I haven't even seen one negative comment so far.
Amazing. We love that.
Yep. So this is the power of culture, you guys. You keep and appreciate the people you love. You over nurture and love them. And then anybody who's toxic, you cut them. So you don't have a long conversation with them. You don't have a long back and forth. You don't try to change their minds. You just not communicate with them. And they're not part of the culture anymore. So that's how you can keep the culture at the highest standard possible at all times. This is also true when it comes to your circle of friends. You might be outgrowing, because you're here. I mean, you here learning about front-end developer guide. I can promise you a lot of your friends are probably not doing this right now. A lot of the people around you are not doing this, and they're not growth oriented. So you also have to start thinking about who are the people that are not anymore a good fit for your circle. So you have to actually, one part of self-growth is to be really loving and over nurturing and be really accepting. The second part of self-growth is having self-respect and boundaries. So those people aren't going to grow with you and aren't going to respect you. Then you have to move on and get a new set of friends, right? And then those set of friends, they have to go.
Yeah. Exactly, and I couldn't agree more in terms of like that negativity, guys. It's like a toxic sort of trait, and it does spread. Like it might start off with a small comment here and there, but that will literally can destroy your work ethic if you stay around it long enough. Whereas if you surround yourself with hardworking people who are literally driven every single day, I'm telling you, you will literally just you start to mask their behavior, you start to mask their sort of traits, and then naturally you follow their same footsteps. So really, really is important to surround yourself with the right people.
Yep, super important. And last thing I wanted to mention is you guys, the step 4 is to go get a job and work as a full-time developer. Now, required skill level for this is advanced, okay, which is why we think you should try to do this last. And then time to build a stream of income is 12 to 24 months. All right. So this is going to take 12 to 24 months. And again, it all stacks. So you could be coaching and making 3K a month. On top of that, you could be freelancing and making 5K a month. So now you're at 8K a month. And then on top of that, I mean, this is probably going to get really hard or almost impossible. You're going to have no time and no freedom to do anything. But you could also be doing a job that's paying you like 7K a month. So it's possible that you could have a potential of 15K a month or more income. Okay. It depends on your hard work, depends on what you do. I'm just showing you guys this to see what's possible. I'm not saying any of you will actually achieve this. Okay.
Can I just add here, guys, that literally when I started working with Kazi, I had a full-time job, I was freelancing on the side, and I was coaching. So it's
Oh,
just
shit.
living proof of, yeah, like I did all of those things. Now, like Kazi said, is it something you can really hold on to, like with all of them stacked on top of each other? It really depends on how you manage your time. But then I chose to sort of drop the freelancing and work like full time with Kazi and and carry on with coaching. So it's really a case of like it's very flexible, but you can actually do all three. Like you can do all three if you need to, and you're in a position. It's all down to how hard you're willing to work and the effort that you're willing to put in.
Yep. It really comes down to you.
Yeah.
Um, Yep. So this is awesome. Harish says, you guys are awesome. You guys boost the confidence in all of us. All right. So there you guys go. If you guys want to take a picture of this, go ahead and do so now. I'll be moving this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So let's go on to the next one. So now, guys, if
Yep.
you want to be able to take all of these skills that we taught you, right? If you want to be able to like learn, if you want to be able to coach, if you want to do freelancing and job, and you want to stack these skills and these streams of income in this exact order, that's exactly what we teach you how to do in our course Profit with JavaScript. All right.
Yep.
And in this course, we have tons of students and they just have really, really great experiences. And Daniel over here says, in the future, I'll continue to learn more and teach students. We have Muhammad, and he says, I hope this community will be part of my future projects. Johnny Bridge going, I have zero coding experience. I'm proud of creating my Google Maps app. Kate says, thank you so much for this challenge. And in the future, I want to be a full stack developer and start freelancing. So these are all the people that are part of our community. And let me talk just a little bit more. Is it okay if I talk a little bit more about Profit with JavaScript, you guys? Because of course, we've just invested so much time and energy into building it out and making it the best possible resource on the planet for most developers. So I would really appreciate it if Sunny and I could speak on it for probably like a few minutes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So let me go over here and open this up. Boom.
While Kazi does that, guys, I think it's worth actually telling you guys. So I know we showed a few of those customer experiences there, but we actually just hit over, I think it's over 1,500 students in the community, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it was over 50. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which is insane, guys.
that
Yeah.
is absolutely insane. And I think I will show that in just a second to everybody. So, guys, in our Profit with JavaScript course, this is our program Profit with JavaScript. And we have the URL up here, so you can go to it directly, or you can click the link in the description below, and that will take you to this page right away. But this course, Profit with JavaScript, we cover all of these things we talked about. So you learning the skills of becoming a developer, you learning how to become so it has the 15 JavaScript training modules. So that will give you all the training that you actually need. Right underneath that, if you look, you have weekly JavaScript and React training calls. And Son, you want to speak to the weekly training calls live?
Yeah, so guys, like this is where we really like differentiate from like a Udemy course or anything else that's kind of out there right now because in these coaching calls and in these live training calls, it's really a chance for you to be able to actually communicate and run through your problems with us that you're experiencing. We run through different, very cutting edge projects every single week. So literally, it's a case of you're not on like a live stream, you're on a Zoom call. So you're
Yeah.
literally on a video call with me, with Nas, with Jacob, with a few people in the community. And guys, like what I mean is one-to-one feedback here. Like there's people asking questions. You can interrupt me at any time. We literally take things to a whole new level in these coaching calls, and our students love it. They literally thrive off of it. Afterwards, there's an amazing Slack community where they literally send me messages of the sort of homework that we set that we go through together. We have an amazing pool of success coaches. And Kazi, what is a success coach?
Success coaches are going to be people, when you join the program, you're going to be paired up with a success coach. And what they will do is every single project that you actually submit, or every homework assignment that you complete, or every app that you build, they're going to give you personalized video feedback on all of
Yeah.
your assignments. So imagine getting video feedback by somebody who's a lot more seasoned than you and is a skilled developer, or sometimes they're even professionals, and they give you
Yeah.
feedback on your code. They give you feedback on your app design. And we get very technical with that. So those are success coaches, and they make sure that you're getting all of the work done.
Exactly. And guys, a lot of people actually say when you combine the weekly coaching calls with the personalized video feedback, the modules that you get, and then on top of that, all of the skills that we then go and like we teach you that, and then we teach you actually how to go and take those skills and start
Yep.
making money straight away with that. Our students have pretty much called this like a 10 is worth pretty much the equivalent of a 10K coding bootcamp. And
Yeah,
in
we've
my
had.
opinion,
Go ahead.
yeah. In my opinion, I honestly, I've been to university, I've done a master's degree, and this is what I would have like if I knew something like this existed. I just don't think I actually tell students now, don't bother going to university. Just join like a course or community and change your life through this way. You'll save yourself a lot of money and literally it will transform your life and take you to that whole nother level of becoming a developer. Yeah.
Yep. This seriously will is a game changer, and so that's why Jose Chaparro, he told me, he's like, dude, this is actually more valuable than my 6-month coding boot camp. And he goes, I paid $10,000 for that one. So,
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
so a lot of students are getting amazing results. Like, you guys should go and check this out. And I want to highlight the community real quick for you guys, so you guys can see the caliber of people and the community that's actually part of Profit with JavaScript. Will it actually full screen? Hold on. So I'm going to open up my app. So this is actually a good app that you guys should know about. It's called Spectacle. And it's really good for, man, my computer is just freezing.
Yeah, I use Spectacle quite a lot. It's really handy tool, guys, when you want to snap things to the left side of the screen, right side of the screen, go full screen. Really, really cool, especially when you're sort of trying to be productive. Yeah.
Yeah, super valuable. So I'm going to click this and hopefully my computer doesn't freeze. But guys, the community is absolutely insane in this program. And we have we have now 1,400 members just in our Slack community. And this is not, we're
Yeah.
not even talking about the 1,500 students that are just part of the course. So that community is really what makes most students who come to the program stay. They love the training. They love all the material that's there. They love all the projects. But the fact that any question you have can and will be answered in less than 5 minutes is massive for people. And it will be answered by
Yeah.
somebody who deeply cares, by somebody who would even be sometimes willing to jump on one-on-one calls with you. So the heart, that is really important. And
Yeah.
the weekly calls that you guys will have, I mean, of course, you guys will be building real world projects. So I think if you are serious about becoming a developer and you want to get a job, then I would highly recommend you check out this course and, consider joining and being a part of this community and being one of us, and we would get
Yeah.
to actually meet you and speak with you on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think guys, like to put this into context, like how many times have you gone into Stack Overflow or like a website like a forum and sort of like been scared to ask a question or felt like you're stupid if you ask a question, right?
Yeah.
In this community, like we don't, there's no such thing as a bad question. Like if you can directly once you're in, literally message me, jump on a call with me, and I always jump on calls with students. We pretty much go through like any problem, whether it be big, small anything, you pretty much can get an answer to.
Yeah.
Um, so it's definitely something which I recommend, and we answer a ton of questions in those weekly coaching calls, and it's all driven by you guys. So in terms of the weekly coaching calls, I see loads of questions about like functional class based, and I see a bunch of other questions like, guys, whatever everyone wants to learn, we go ahead and we answer every single thing inside those coaching calls. So there's a lot of value that is delivered in those, and if you're interested, link is in the description. Make sure you go and check it out.
Yeah, seriously, check that out. And with that said, guys, hopefully you guys got a ton of value. I mean, we just packed it with value. The front end developer guide 2020 to 2021. Use this
Yep.
as your Bible for success. Use as your Bible for a career as a front end developer, or honestly, a lot of what we said works as a full stack developer as well. So, the recap of like learning about Firebase and React and JavaScript and Visual Studio Code and, what best framework to use for testing like Cypress IO. What are the processors that you should use, for CSS? And we talked about server side rendering and how the difference between a mid-level, developer versus a senior level is knowing things like Next.js and using those types of things. We talked about static site generators like Gatsby or Jekyll or Hugo and all of that. And we said, hey, use Gatsby, learn it. So there's so much value that was packed in this, and we just threw it all at you guys. Just make sure to keep going back to this, to keep taking notes, and really just following along. Personally, I think honestly the most valuable part, if I was watching this video, is the part that shows you practically how to turn this into cash for yourself. So
Yeah.
really pay attention to that and take action on it. That's the one part that most people don't take action on. So I just want to emphasize that.
Yeah, really, really massive there, guys, in terms of because what you'll see typically on websites and just throughout the internet is like you'll find all of these skills, how to do it, and then you just don't know how to take that to that next level. And that really does become a question. And it kind of puts you in this horrible place, and it's very disheartening, makes you kind of want to give up on programming. So we really hope that we helped you out today and just in and how to take that to that point of where you can actually start making income and you can actually enjoy the process a lot more. Because when you start earning from this, you really do start to love it that extra bit, and it
Yep.
starts to become that it starts to drive your life and change your life. Yeah.
Yep. So that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching and being here. Hopefully you enjoyed it just as much as we did. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because we're going to be building the Twitter clone live tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. So don't miss out on that.
Yep.
That is Pacific time, 10:15 a.m. Los Angeles. August 7th, Friday, 10:15 a.m. Twitter clone. Mark it in your calendars. Open up your phone. All right, go into the clock app and set up alarms for that time. So literally what I do is I'll do it right now because I have to do it for tomorrow anyway. But I'm going to set up my timers for tomorrow. So I set up a bunch of alarms like this, okay? So go ahead and do that. And even on your calendar, on your phone, put it in your calendar for tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification so you find out exactly when it's coming out. Like this video so it just goes out to more and more people. And with that said, love your face. See you guys inside Profit with JavaScript. Or if you don't do that, see you on the live stream tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. You guys have been amazing. We love and appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, we will see you guys tomorrow.
Awesome. Love you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.